to you and welcome. The Wednesday edition of the Bill Michaels Show, and we got credit to take. Ben Kenny producing the program today. I'm Bill Michaels. We are today. I am live here in Indianapolis yet again. One more day, and then off for about a week. We are T-minus 8 and counting. Giannis is doubtful. The Bucks are hopefully going to get a win tonight. The travesty is they have put them off to NBA TV, which I think is absolute garbage. But in the meantime, Ben, do you realize that we have to take credit for the all-powerful show that we are?
That we have to take credit?
Yeah.
I was going to come on and take credit, Bill.
Yeah, we apparently, according to Mark, who says, and I quote, every time you two buffoons badmouth Yelich, he goes yard and sticks it in your blank. I had no idea the power of this show. But we're going to continue to just, as he puts it, badmouth Yelich in the hopes that he comes off the schneid, stays off the schneid, and brings us the 300-plus batting average, gives us an OPS around 1, and then hits 40 bombs. Because if that's the kind of power we have, we better utilize it for the sake of good. Just saying.
Not to mention, I don't consider myself a buffoon. And if anything, I might be Yelich's strongest defender.
You have been.
Maybe to a fault.
You actually picked Yelich to go more than 18 bombs, so 18 and a half bombs this season. So I can't remember the last time I really badmouthed anybody. Whenever you say anything that's even remotely negative about a player, you're badmouthing them. No matter if it's true or not, or that's the reality of where things are. There are some people out there that take it as you're always being negative and you're always bashing. And there's a big difference between bashing and telling the truth. So if we are going to have, and David, you're right, and Gary, you're right, we should have a daily bash Yelich segment. Therefore, for whatever reason, I guess he's listening to the program or karma has become the show. But if we do this on the regular, then the way I understand it, at least from Mark, who shot us the email, is that Yelich could end up with over 100 bombs on the season. I mean, if it happens on the daily, when you think about it, and we would be responsible for it. Therefore, not just the city of Milwaukee, but as they effort into the postseason and possibly, dare I say it, dare I dare to dream, hoist a World Series trophy for the first time in franchise history. Dare I say that young Ben Kenny and I should be standing there in that locker room being sprayed with champagne, wearing our goggles. Now, you obviously have them being a skier. I do not. I will have to purchase them. But we should then be standing there next to the almighty, kind of Templeton the Rat looking, Rob Manfred as the commissioner of baseball. And as he goes to hand it to Craig Counsell, Craig then will recognize the program and turn and hand it to us. And therefore, you and I then can share in the glory, and then we can be rejoiced and heralded among all the masses that are Brewers Nation in the great state of Wisconsin. I'm right there, man. I think we're on to something. Feeling good about it. There's always somebody. Good morning to you. 877-867-1670 if you want to find us. That's the phone number. Again, 877-867-1670. Find us over on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels, or at Ben Z. Kenny, Ben Z. Kenny on Twitter. You can also find us on YouTube. You can find us on Twitch TV, simply Bill Michaels Show. You can also find us under The Bill Michaels Show over on Instagram, which many are starting to follow on Instagram. I posted some stuff there last night and on Facebook, and appreciate those that have started following on Instagram. It's grown. I started out, I didn't use Instagram a ton, and I'm being told to use it more, so I am. And the reaction over the last couple of weeks has been good. We've gained over, I think, like 1,000 followers. So I didn't have anybody. I had maybe 500 when we efforted into this, but now we're up to, I think, 3,500 or something like that, or 3,000. I don't know, 3,050. I have no idea. Anyway, but we appreciate that. You can also find us over on Apple iTunes. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Google Podcasts. Email the program, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And also you can track us down at simply thebillmichaels.com. If you want to find out where we are going to be, the schedule, it's on both Instagram and Facebook, simply The Bill Michaels Show on both. And right there at the top of the page, you'll see where we're going to be next, or what oddity we will be handing you when it comes to our shows, which is a week from tomorrow. Going to be back. I'll be actually back a week from today. So I got a week off, but I'll be back a week from today, as I'm going to head down to Florida for a few. But going to be back a week from today, which will lead us into Thursday of next week, which will then lead us into the first night, the opening night, round one of the NFL draft. So all that going on, and then we're off and running pretty much. Getting excited for it. Hey, by the way, speaking of getting excited, I'm excited today. I've known Jim Ozarski for a long time, and Jim's always been gracious enough to come on and talk some Bucks basketball with us. He's going to do so again today, coming up in about 2 hours. We'll talk with Jim Ozarski. But an hour, just about a little bit less than an hour from now, I worked with him a long time at the former station on the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network, and he is not only one of the most enthusiastic Brewers fans I know, but he's one of the most into the Milwaukee Brewers guys that I know, and one of the longest running baseball postgame shows out there. And that's our buddy Tim Allen is going to join us today on the program from 97.3 The Game out of Milwaukee, which is one of our affiliate companies. So good stuff today. A lot of good stuff today. What else do we got? Anything else? We got Draymond Green, which shocking. He was suspended for a game. That was big today. So that was breaking news. You got Giannis. The breaking news there, as we all know, if you haven't heard already, he is doubtful for tonight's game 2 against the Heat. He is, quote, making progress after the back contusion. But it's just, man, it's going to be tough to win that vital game 2 without Giannis, in my opinion. So, and then to me, now, Ben, I'm sure over the years you have seen a lot of people that have just done some incredibly badass things, correct?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm talking like manly man stuff, like step-up stuff. We all remember Michael Jordan being sick and having a terrific game. We all remember Willis Reed coming back in for the New York Knicks and the crowd going nuts and him having an incredible game. We all remember Giannis going down. And then coming back and having an incredible game. We all remember what T.O. did after he broke his leg. And Donovan McNabb needed him for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, he came back. They didn't win the Super Bowl. But in a couple of weeks, he healed a broken leg. We all remember Adrian Peterson tearing up his knee in an ACL towards the end of the season and saying, I will be back by game 1. And damn it, he was. It was one of the fastest healing things we'd ever seen. I have never, ever in my life ever seen anything like I saw last night. Do you know what I'm leading to?
No, I was going to bring up that I've seen someone fight off a bear with a folded up saw.
Okay.
So that's another story for another day.
We have seen.
Now I'm curious.
We have seen,
what happened last night?
Last night, in case you missed it, the Winnipeg Jets forward, Morgan Barron, last night, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. There's this scrum out in front of the goal. And he took a skate to the face, sliced him. I mean,
I don't care.
Sliced him open, man. Face gashed, blood everywhere, sliced him wide open. 75 stitches. 75 stitches he took in his face last night and came back and played the third period. I've never seen anything like that in my life. I've seen a lot of tough guys. I've seen UFC fights where you thought this guy's dead, comes back. I even saw Rocky get the hell beat out of him over and over and over and over and over again. I have never seen.
Oh gosh, there's some old WWE Hell in a Cell matches where you have guys coming back from the dead.
I have never seen anybody in my life take. And I was sitting last night. Kristen and I went out. We just went exploring last night. She had last night off, so we went out last night. And we went to a really cool, I don't even know what the area is, but it's just like northeast of the city. and it's a really cool, kind of an eclectic, rejuvenated area. And went for a drink in one place, and then the other side of the place was this gourmet taco. It was tacos and margaritas. Was basically was the name of the place. And we went there. We had a margarita, a couple of beers, and then we had these really good tacos and stuff. And they had the hockey game on last night, and I've never seen anything like it from anybody ever. You know, and it's funny because the guy sitting next to me says that guy came back, and we're all just stunned because he comes back and they're showing the camera, and his whole face is just it's like it's a beard, and it's not. It's just all stitches down. Was a soccer player, and he says, "And you guys flop around like fish on a deck, and then pop right back up." And it was just like, oh my God, punch to the solar plexus verbally from this guy's buddy next to him for the flopping that goes on in soccer. This guy legit gets sliced open, 75 stitches, sliced his face, grill cut wide open, and he comes back and plays the third period in a hockey game. Oh, that made my innards hurt just to think about it. And I mean, today I can only imagine the soreness that he has today, and seeing a surgeon to make sure that the scarring in the face or whatever. But I've never ever in my life seen anything like that. That is that is badass. It was on the side of the face, the forehead, completely around. It was like wow, wow. That's beyond badass. I don't care who you are.
How did he play in the third quarter, though? Like, should he have come back?
I didn't really pay attention. I ate my taco and left. But we were there when he came back in the third period. It was just wow. So anyway, there you have it. So today marks 8 days. Do you kind of feel the noose tightening? Just a little bit? Because we've kind of gotten used to. Oh, there you go, Jason. Now Jason over on the live stream says that is stitch-tastic. Oh, I like that. Um, do we feel the news tightening? We're 8 days away. The whole thing was, they're going to get to the NFL draft and something's going to happen. That's the deadline, right? Packers are going to get a deal done. Rodgers is going to be traded. No worries here. And then today, as you know, if you're watching on the live stream, I'm wearing my Packers pullover. I'm upstairs. I'm in the gym today here at the hotel, and I'm working out. And I got my Packers pullover thrown over the arm of the treadmill. And this gentleman walks in next to me, this older guy, and starts talking. And he says, Packers fan. What do you think about that? And then he has no idea what I do or anything like that. But he says, what do you think about that Rodgers? He's kind of a pain in the ass, isn't he? And I said, yeah, it's kind of a saga that's played out. Now, he is in town. He is a Saints fan. He's from New Orleans. He's here for a convention. But we just got talking a little bit. There's some optimism down in New Orleans for the team. But he said, God, just what, again, completely outside perspective. What a drama queen, this and that, on and on and on. But he's won you a lot of games. Yeah. He's won a championship. Well, you guys have won the same amount as us. Sean Payton won, us one. Mike McCarthy won, you guys won. Okay, how you doing? And then he says, don't you figure they're going to get this deal done? Because the more time you let Rodgers sit, the more time he has to think about it and get mad at something. I said to the guy, I don't think they're going to trade him because he would be mad. Not at this point. I think what they're going to do is they're going to trade him because of value, because the time is right. And then he says, well, if I'm the Packers, I know it's a lot of money, but just bite the bullet for one season and sit his ass. That's the outside perspective. That's the outside perspective. I'm like, wow. I'm like, yeah, there are some fans that kind of feel that way. Okay. So then he says to me, if I'm a Jets fan, I'm going to be mad as hell when they get that clown. They're going to pay him a lot of money. They're going to give up draft choices, and he's not going to take them anywhere. And then he says, at least that's the way I see it. Nice to see you, blah, blah, blah. And off the treadmill he goes. Outside perspective. Now, that's not the majority, granted. But I do find it interesting when you talk to some random person with an opinion outside of the area, what the outside perspective is when it comes to what's going on in our own backyard. It's always good to get that. It's always good to get that outside perspective. So, granted, I know his quarterback, the upgrade they feel is Derek Carr. But oh well. That said, did you see that San Francisco might be shopping Trey Lance? There's been a lot of rumors. There's been a lot of rumors about San Francisco. There's been rumors about Mac Jones being shopped too, that Bill Belichick's not happy with him. And there's been talks about Trey Lance, and they've questioned his ability and whether or not that was a bad choice. There's also been the discussion that will San Francisco jump into the mix and kind of stir the pot come draft day for the Green Bay Packers and the New York Jets. But just overall, as time winds down, do you feel the noose just tightening a little bit because we're getting closer? Tomorrow marks a week away from needing to get this deal done. From needing to get things done. So very interesting. By the way, the Titans thing, not seeing it. Titans owe Tannehill way too much money. They're not going to bring in Rodgers' salary on top of that. The whole thing, all the rumors about the Titans stuff, everything I read is from one source who mentioned it to one person. And granted, they may believe in that source. I'm not going to completely knock it. But to me, I think that is far from reality. Far from reality. From ever happening. So, just an FYI. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. The phone numbers to get a hold of us. That's the way to go. 877-867-1670. Do you feel the noose tightening a bit? A bit. Big game coming up tonight for the Milwaukee Bucks. Game 2 against the Heat. Giannis at this point is doubtful, barring some kind of a near miraculous healing process that takes you over and above to be able to, walk onto the court tonight and give it a go. But Giannis, most likely with the word doubtful being used, not going to play. But they said his therapy is progression. 877-867-1670. Going to step out, take a quick break. Hey, don't forget our friends over at Exit Realty, Mikey Whitcomb and the gang. They're the ones that found my home for me. It was like 12 homes I went through before I finally just decided on the one that I'm in now. And he was patient. He was really, really good with the advice. Everything from the seed money all the way to the actual deposit to getting the deal done, working with the banks and the mortgage company. Everything was smooth. He did a hell of a job, and I can't recommend him highly enough. That's Mikey Whitcomb, Whitcomb. But call him. Call Mikey, 414-243-1976. He's a biker. He works with veterans. Again, 414-243-1976. 414-243-1976. If you're looking for a realtor, Mikey's your guy. Stay tuned. We got a whole lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Hello, baseball fans. Jeff Levering here, calling the action with the amazing team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And what a roster we have. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Wow, what a smooth glide. Pella's sliding windows are incredibly easy to maneuver, wider than they are tall. They glide horizontally, letting in lots of natural light and unobstructed views. And that roll, it's a double play. Pella's premium roll screens operate like magic. Close the window and the screen rolls away completely out of sight. Now that is slick. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Pella Reserve patio doors offer virtually unlimited sizes and custom colors, and they're backed up with the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Pella sure is one heck of a 5-tool player, and you can bring any number of their all-star innovations home for 0% for 48 months when you order by April 30th. Visit PellaWI.com for this amazing deal. Certain restrictions apply.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
He's home the 3-2 pitch, and Yelich, a high fly ball out to left. Racing back is Kelnick. Onto the warning track. He looks up. Bye-bye, baseball. Yelich leads it off with a home run. His third of the season, and the Brewers on top 1-0 before you can blink.
Yelly! Welcome back. We are blessed enough, according to Mark, that whenever we bash Yelly, he's inspired by us. And the word bash, meaning Ben and I, are calling us buffoons. Bashing Yelly, clearly a Yelly fan. Because every time that we bash him, he shows us and sticks it. You know the rest. So we feel the power. There you go. That is Christian Yelich and the power of Yelly. Hey, by the way, speaking of power, you've got some good shopping power. That's at Kane & Kane Jewelers, wanting to rock your world out there in West Bend. All you got to do is check out our friends at Kane, K-O-E-H-N, KaneJewelry.com. That's KaneJewelry.com, whether it's, engagement rings, anniversary rings, gifts, you name it. If you want to buy like a guy and learn all the details how, find out the Buy Like a Guy podcast that Andy Kane has as well. And they do everything over there, not just jewelry. So good stuff from our friends at Kane Jewelry. Kane, K-O-E-H-N, KaneJewelry.com. That's KaneJewelry.com. So when do you think, Ben, all this happens for Aaron Rodgers as we are now 8 days away and counting for the NFL draft? What is the most likely outcome in your mind for when all of this culminates?
Next Friday. I think the day of the second round of the draft. I think all indications as time has gone on is that 13 is not going to be part of it. If there is a first round pick, it could be for next year. So it feels kind of dependent on the Jets' second round pick or multiple second round picks. So I think that's the deadline. I feel like it's next Friday.
It's kind of heading in that direction, isn't it? Kind of heading in that direction. I don't want to think so because I really thought they'd get this done before the draft, but it's kind of leaning towards if that's going to happen, that next Friday would be it. I would probably have to agree with you. We're 8 days till the NFL draft, and Aaron Rodgers still has not been traded. When will the trade happen, if at all? If at all. If at all. When will it happen? That is, by the way, right now, the poll question over on Twitter. Just posted it. 8 days till the NFL draft, and Aaron Rodgers still has not been traded. When will the trade happen, if at all? Will it be just before round 1, day 2 of the draft, after June 1st, or something else happens? There you go. Start chiming in on that one. A lot of people got a lot of different opinions on that. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Or something else happened, leaving the Jets out of it, basically. Like, say, San Francisco swoops in, or Rodgers retires, or the Packers keep him, or something else. Something else. What else could possibly happen to kind of botch all of this up and make this even more convoluted than it already is? 877-867-1670. Merlin says, would be great to see all of this with Rodgers, Packers, Jets just blow up and be a complete crap show. It's so entertaining right now. That, and I'm not a Goody or a Murphy fan, wish they both would get fired. I know you're not. I know you're not. I don't understand all of it, but I know you're not. Kyle says, I agree that Aaron Rodgers is not going to take the Jets very far, mainly because the AFC is loaded. Dennis wants to know where the Bucs going to win tonight. Without Giannis, they better start hitting some shots. I'll tell you that right now. Mackie says, love the Bucs background. Go Bucs. Yeah, today in honor of the Bucs playing in Game 2 of the postseason, I thought I'd throw up the Bucs background today, the brick background, over on the live stream. But the question now is, what do you think? When do you think all of this happens? When do you think it all gets going? Do they finish this thing just before round 1, day 2 of the draft, after June 1st, or something else happens? Something else becomes a fly in the ointment for the Jets and the Packers. Give me your thoughts. I still think it gets done. I still think he is traded. It's looking more and more like day 2, but I still think he gets traded just before the draft. I'm going to hang on to that. Say it happens Wednesday night, Thursday morning. The Jets go, oh, okay. You know, something like that. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning in that direction. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This one's from Artie. Artie says, hey, guys, I hope it doesn't happen. Well, Rodgers ends up showing up at camp and puts everybody into an awkward position for the Green Bay Packers. They should have never drafted Jordan Love. They should have given the reins over to Aaron Rodgers and let him retire on his own terms. There you go. Paul says the 49ers need to step into the fray. Jeff says they better start playing better defense, meaning the Bucs. Will says Rodgers is the one sweating it. He doesn't want to be in Green Bay. He pretty much burned that bridge. Goody needs to stay the course and hang on. A lot of opinions. A lot of good stuff. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. I want to know your opinion on this. Phone lines are wide open. Hey, reminder coming up, only a spot left. Saturday, May 6th, the Bill Michaels Open. We're going to be at Viroqua Hills Golf Course. Looking forward to this. We're going to be there. Myself, Ben Kenny, Kristen's coming with us. We're all going to get together, play some golf with you, and hopefully you can make it as well. There's going to be some food catered after the fact by our friends at Kickapoo Corners. And we got some meatball subs and all kinds of good stuff that we're going to be making and shaking and baking and all that kind of good stuff. So come on out, hang out with us. It's a beautiful little hidden gem of a golf course in the middle of Wisconsin. And I know the snow's melting, water's running, mushy, 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 but in a few weeks, we're going to be good to go. That's the Bill Michaels Open, Saturday, May 6th. Call right now. There's only a few spots left. 608 637 7615. 608 637 7615. Again, 608 637 7615. And we hope you can join us.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Hey, don't forget about our friends Jeff and Alicia from Stoley's Hog Alley, Solzo 109. Terrific fish fry. I know they shut them down. They had some just vacation stuff going on. They moved into a new house. They've had a lot of things happening. Gave the staff a little bit of a break because everybody's been pretty much all out for a while now. But out in Oconomowoc and in Summit, we'll say, also in Watertown. But great burgers, pizzas. A terrific staff, TVs everywhere, and they always have awesome music out in the patio. But it's just an awesome atmosphere. There's one on Venice Beach Road in Oconomowoc, and then there's County Road I in Watertown. That's Stoley's Hog Alley Lake Country and Stoles Old 109 in Watertown. You can't go wrong. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Real quick, over on the Twitter side, the poll question. We're 8 days away till the NFL draft, and Aaron Rodgers has still not been traded. When will the trade happen, if at all? 35% of you say just before round one. 10% of you say it's going to happen on day 2. 26% say after June 1st. And then the remaining 26% say something else happens. Something else, whether another team jumps into the mix, Rodgers comes back, he retires, something else besides the Jets and the Packers happens. So there you go. Little mystery in the mix. I like it. And very quickly, in just a segment, we've had 67 votes already over on Twitter. If you want to follow me, at Bill_Michaels, and follow me over there and track that down. So what else do we have here? This is with all the conspiracy theorists out there looking to know. Mary says, I say Wednesday, at the latest on Thursday. Thomas says again, we know the 40 no draft cap. They do. It's just not immediate. They can give up, draft positions next year. Scott says, find out if Rodgers is willing to go to the 49ers and if they are willing to trade for him. Once Green Bay picks at 15, call the Jets bluff. If the Jets are still holding back, call the 49ers, assuming they are willing to bring in Rodgers, and trade him to San Francisco no later than early day 2. We have not heard. You're right, Michael, for a guy that Rodgers creates the drama, we have not heard anything. He has been relatively quiet. Now, he will come back. And to say that he says Bill beats it like a dead horse every day. Everybody talks about it, Michael, so shut up. But we have not heard anything from Aaron Rodgers. After, part of it is, now don't forget, after Gutekunst had said, we called him, we tried to get a hold of him. Remember when Rodgers threw the shade at the Packers? Not a word since. I figure, first of all, there's a couple of things. Rodgers, his commitment to do McAfee was over. It was done. He said what he wanted to say. He doesn't want to be questioned about that now. And when he came out and said, I was 90% sure that I was going to retire, it doesn't look good. Actually, he kind of devalued himself, and that's part of the sticking point in all of this because it made the Jets go, well, wait a minute. If he's 90% ready to retire, do we want to trade away the capital and the farm for him? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we're 8 days away from that soft deadline of the NFL draft. And it's not a hard deadline. It's not like if you don't draft him on day one or day two, or if you don't trade him on day one or day two, like it's over. There's no more negotiation. You would probably figure it would then last until after June 1st, because after that, the Packers could hang on to him and divvy up some of that salary. But yeah, you kind of wait. Jason says, something tells me nothing happens even after the draft. The Packers are standing their ground. Time will tell. Keep fingers crossed. I would agree. John says the Jets are all talk and no action. Michael says, cannot come back. Can't happen. Would be a circus and a disaster. Both sides have made it known that they are ready to part. Oh, you mean back to the Packers? No, I agree with that. I don't think he can come back. I mean, he could, but let's go to the phone calls. Let's talk to our buddy Gerard. Gerard, what's going on, man? How you been?
Hey, Bill. There's 3 points I want to make. I agree with the day 2 thing more or less. I think it's going to be the second round pick and maybe a number 1 pick the following year. And then I'm thinking maybe Rodgers and Woody Johnson had the conversation. Well, I am going to play with you for 2 or 3 years, but we don't want to give all this draft capital to the Packers. So we're going to, the conspiracy theory with that. And then there's a third thing I want to get into, David Bakhtiari. Let me just say this. I don't know how that conversation went between him and Goody. They had to have a conversation after what he said. That was really strange. And remember back in the day, Herb Adderley didn't want to play for Phil Banksman, so the Packers traded him to the Cowboys. Ronnie Anderson didn't want to play for Dan Devine, so they traded him to the Cardinals for MacArthur Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this stuff with Bakhtiari said, now that's insulting. That's similar to what Rodgers said about the players not being treated fairly, in my point of view. Okay? I don't get the players today. And I don't know if it's all blown up more because of social media. I don't know that because
All right, let's do this. Some technical stuff going on. Let's step away quick.
What
Let's
happened
take a
there,
quick
Ben?
break.
Did that something just blow
there
up?
you are.
Yeah, no, I could hear you. All of a sudden, it was just gone. I didn't know if something happened on your end or what, to where we lost Gerard.
I think Goody came for Gerard's phone.
Is that what it was? I was listening. All of a sudden, I heard a boom. I thought maybe you fell asleep and your forehead hit the microphone. Let's do this.
No,
we will take a break, but going off of what Gerard was saying, and I feel bad that whatever happened with Gerard on the line. But when he says, talks about Goody and David Bakhtiari kind of, again, the comments of David Bakhtiari, you got to go back and listen to him because he talks so fast. If you listen to it the second, third, maybe even fourth time, you start to get the thread of thought. I don't think he was necessarily saying that he believes they're going to suck. I think he was kind of speaking in that if they are in the front office believe they are going to suck, then this is what they'll do, or this is what they'll take, and this is how they would do it. The first time you hear it, it certainly makes your ears perk up and go, oh, wait, he said they're going to suck. Wait, what? But then when you go back and listen to it, and you listen to it with the question and everything in regards to the front office, he's kind of speaking like he would be Goody sitting there going, well, if you're not sure and you believe that they're at least going to suck for a year, even though they got a pretty good team, that you understand what he may take. He may take stuff for next year rather than for this year. And then you go, okay, I get it a little bit. I understand that a little bit better. It's not terrible. as originally when we first heard it, what Bakhtiari's comments came out to be. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Yeah, right. Jason says, oh, Rodgers must be listening. Right? Right? There you go. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. We got a lot more to get to. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's Jeff Levering for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Look at that effortless horizontal window slide, letting in lots of light. And that roll, it's a double play. Like magic, the screen disappears when the window is closed. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door, featuring the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Just look at that slide.
Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Always a crazy one, broke into the stadium and I wrote your number on a 50-yard line. You were always a perfect one and a valedictorian, so under your number I wrote call for a good time.
Welcome back. Good to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. I think we got everything kind of straightened out. It's always weird when you're, on site and you're in unfamiliar territory when it comes to the ability, of some of these places to give you certain amounts of bandwidth and such. Hey, coming up just after the top of the hour, we're going to step into the Brewers realm of things. Tim Allen, host of the Baseball Postgame Show on 97.3 The Game out of Milwaukee, is going to be joining us. We're going to talk a little bit about the fast start for this team. And, man, if they can get a win today and sweep the Mariners, whew, what an incredible road trip. I can't remember the last time there was such a successful West Coast swing. I just, man, I can't remember the last time it was that good. But we're going to talk a lot about it. So hopefully, knock on wood. Hopefully the Brewers continue their torrid pace again, off to a very fast start. And you just, every day you get questions about, how the Brewers youth is and how exciting they are and can they keep it up? What do they do postseason? This and that. I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa, wait a minute. Let's just enjoy the ride. Let's just enjoy the ride right now. So solid in Arizona, San Diego, Seattle. Just just knock on wood that they continue this kind of a pace. So anyway, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Again, 877-867-1670. Boy, sorry about that, Jeff. Jeff was in Minocqua. He wanted to chime in, and Jeff ended up hanging up. Thinking something happened, I guess. But we're good. We're back, rolling around, enjoying the day. This was from who's this from? This is from Jesse. Jesse says, hey guys, regarding the Brewers, can't wait for the Brewers to come back home. I bought a couple of tickets. Haven't been down to a Brewers game in 2 years, but the young guys have excited me. As far as Rodgers goes, he believes he's going to get he's going to get traded just before the first day of the NFL draft. The Jets would be crazy not to. You want to get him in camp as quick as possible to start working with the young receivers. ... Yeah, right. LOL. Well, again, though, I mean, if I'm Rodgers, you would go. You would figure. If you're the Jets, you want him there. You would. I mean, if this is the end of your career, you only got a couple of years, man. At most, put everything you got into it. You would. That's what you would assume, right? In the meantime, the Packers got a job to do. The Packers are looking at a lot of different players. They're looking at. They obviously have brought a lot of guys in. Almost 30 visits. A lot of tight ends. 5 tight ends have visited in Green Bay. Clearly, that's an area of need. Wide receiver, an area of need. You can almost gauge by the amount of visits per position as to maybe what they're thinking. But I do caution you, again, myself included, because this is the time of year where you always get 1 or 2 guys that get drafted, and they said, I had no idea that team was even interested in me. They didn't even talk to me. And there are times that and Ted Thompson was good at this, if you really covet somebody, you already know that guy. You saw him play in college. Maybe you saw him at the Senior Bowl, or you just had a feeling about him coming out. You know what that cat can do. You saw his numbers maybe at the combine. Everything was validated. You don't need to talk to that guy. You know what kind of a player he is. So you stay away. You don't let teams around you know that that's the direction you're going to go. So sometimes when you bring people in for visits, you've heard this where they said, no, I really thought such and such, the Cowboys or the Bills or somebody was going to take me. They really talked a lot to me, and then they didn't grab me. And all of a sudden the Packers did. They never talked to me. It's because this is the time of year where a lot of general managers, they'll start throwing up smokescreen and trying to get people to think in one direction versus another direction. So it kind of keeps people away from maybe one of the commodities they would be going after. So that's what's going on this portion, this time of year when it comes to the NFL draft. I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Don't forget our coverage begins next week. Ben, what do we got? 7:00 Central Time, I think, on the network
Correct.
On Thursday night. Next Thursday night, 7:00 Central Time, when the draft gets underway, we get underway, and we're going to go up until 11 o'clock. So we'll have every pick, every bit of coverage. Myself, Ben, Mike Clemens, obviously going to be around as well. So we'll talk with Mike and everything else we have going on that day. But we will give you pick-by-pick coverage of the 2023 NFL Draft. So make sure you mark your calendar and tune in, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on the app. If you're out and about that night, take us with you. If it's on any of the local radio stations or affiliate stations, we're going to have it all for you. So make sure. And by the way, do we even check? Do the Brewers play next Thursday? To see if we're going to have Brewers interference, so to speak, in regards to a game that night?
That's a good question.
So if we do, and some of the affiliates are taking the Brewers, again, check out the app, WOZN, The Zone Madison, 1670 AM, 96.7 FM out in Madison. The Zone, WOZN Madison. So we don't have a game. So you would assume most of our affiliates are going to be carrying it. So good stuff. Good stuff. Looking forward to it. Oh, the draft is always exciting. Always love the NFL Draft. Coming up after the top of the hour, Tim Allen, host of the Baseball Postgame Show, going to be joining us. We'll talk with him about the fast start for this young and exciting team. And Yelich, he is sitting now at 3 dingers on the season. A couple of them to lead off games. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at The Water Doctors, H2, the letter O, doctors.com, H2O doctors.com. The Connecticut Water Softening System, the best in the business, hands down the best. I've got it in my home. I love it. Whether it's showering or the reverse osmosis for drinking water, you don't have to buy bottled water anymore. Whatever it is awesome. It is just great, and I can't recommend it enough. And our friends at the Water Doctors, they give back to the Custom Canine Service Dog Academy, helping veterans in need. That's the reason you would go with that great company. Call them 262-549-7733. 262-549-7733, or go to H2ODoctors.com. Tim Allen, host of the Baseball Postgame Show, joining us next on the Bill Michaels Show.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, Giannis Antetokounmpo did not practice yesterday for the Milwaukee Bucks, but they have not ruled out the two-time MVP for Game 2 tonight against the Miami Heat. Now, Giannis did exit the series opener with a back contusion early in the second quarter. The x-rays came back negative, but he is listed as doubtful for tonight's action. Here's more from head coach Mike Budenholzer.
He's still sore, but I think progress, and he's getting some treatment, and I think we'll just continue to monitor him. I think still mostly positive, mostly optimistic.
Tip-off tonight from the Pfizer Forum is at 8. To the majors, Christian Yelich would hit a leadoff home run, and Willie Adames drove in the go-ahead run in the 11th inning to see the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Seattle Mariners 6-5 last night at T-Mobile Park. Both Yelich and Adames combined for 5 hits and 5 RBIs last night, and the Milwaukee Brewers have now won 3 straight and 5 of their last 6. The Crew will end their West Coast road trip today. They'll go for the sweep against the Mariners. First pitch is at 3:10. They'll have Thursday off before coming home to American Family Field to host the Red Sox.
Are you a non-union construction tradesperson proud of what you do? Did you know you're worth so much more than what you're bringing home today? Put the power of LiUNA union labor to work for you. When you join LiUNA, you get the pay you deserve, plus pension and healthcare benefits above and beyond your compensation. That's 0 deductions for pension and healthcare benefits with LiUNA, because you're worth it. Learn more at liunawisconsin.org/join.
The NFL Draft is just 8 days away, and the Packers own 10 picks right now, including the 15th overall. But the number of picks could increase if the Packers and Jets come to an agreement of the trade for quarterback Aaron Rodgers. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Bill Michaels Show. We are glad you're with us. I am in Indianapolis, Indiana today. Then the next week off, Ben Kenny will take you, leading you up to next Wednesday. Then that's when I get back, and then we'll obviously give you the NFL draft and such right after. Looking forward to that. But this Brewers team is off to a hot start, and it seems like, at least according to Mark, that every time we, in some way, shape, or form, bash Christian Yelich, that he goes yard, he must be listening to the program, and we must be the most powerful radio show in all of broadcasting history. That being said, a guy that I absolutely love to death, spent a lot of time with him working in years gone by. Our good friend, host of the baseball postgame show on 97.3 The Game in Milwaukee, Tim Allen, joining us. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
Well, Bill, it's been way, way too long. I do miss working with you and filling in on your shows. It's been a blast over the years. And, I was telling your producer that, you never know.
So, Tim, let's start off with the fast start of this. Okay, sorry about that. No, I was just going to say, let's start off with the fast start of this team, because I know you, I've listened to you, and whenever you get young guys come up and they start producing, you get excited. So, and there's legit reasons to be excited right now.
Yeah, Bill, I was a little concerned, though, although I am excited about younger talent for sure, but a little concerned when you go with younger talent in multiples. And that typically means, okay, so they made a bunch of moves with a couple of veterans moving in, Winker and Brian Anderson and Owen Miller comes in. You make those changes, Contreras coming in, you make those changes. You also influx, 3 rookies into the scene. Typically, Bill, that means and screams rebuild. I mean, right. Or at least transition, doesn't it? It would at least say transition. But when they really produce like they're producing, and it's not just on the field. I think there's an energy, there's a vibe around it, and that's the exciting part. Is that you're getting production out of Winker and Anderson and Owen Miller and these guys. You're also getting production out of these guys and the energy, the youthful energy and the vibe. Just wait. Your audience, Bill, they're going to know these guys' household names, because right now, and no disrespect to that term casual fan, but the casual fan base, they're going to know these guys by the end of the season. That's going to be a fun ride.
So let's start off Christian Yelich, and we were talking about him yesterday, and I kind of teased it a little bit. It seems like every time we start to look at Yelich, the average and such, and he struggles. The strikeouts are prevalent. All of a sudden, he goes yard, and he looks like Christian Yelich. But, Tim, you tell me, what are your expectations of Christian Yelich? Because I think the day of him being one of the most dangerous hitters in baseball are far by the wayside.
Oh, my goodness. You're right in that hey, if you're the elixir for Christian Yelich having a good game, pass away, Bill. Just go ahead. Keep at it, because, they need him. They really do need him to recycle through like the other guys. For a couple of games, it'll be Rowdy and Brian Anderson. And then another couple of games, it'll be Winker and Bryce Terang. Another couple of games will be Garrett Mitchell and William Contreras. You need Christian Yelich to do his lifting too. And when you look up and you see a .214 batting average, that warrants some concern. It does, and I think it's natural to do that. But my expectations, I think late last year I called him Jonathan VR, because that's kind of the numbers he was putting up. He was putting up Jonathan VR. The problem is Jonathan VR was paid about $6 million a year, and Christian Yelich is about $26 million a year. You want more out of it, but if you're not going to get it, be on base, to keep the line moving, get hot for stints, that's what you can expect out of him. I don't think that 18 and 19 numbers is attainable at this point. There's too many habits of no launch. It's a lot of rollovers to the right side. He looks a little frustrated at times, or maybe I won't say intimidated. But gosh, Bill, when you're looking at 2.031 dead red counts, and you're taking fastballs on 3-1-2-0. Christian, something's up, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to go. But if we can get 2 or 3 games out of him, Bill, a week where he produces like, yesterday, a leadoff homer, had another RBI hit, and steal a base here and there, you take what you can get.
Give me your thoughts right now, pitching staff-wise. Woodruff a little bit nicked up, and then obviously Corbin Burns with the sore pectoral. You can't afford to lose them long-term, but the amazing thing is that you've had these guys with little tweaks here and there, and you haven't been losing ball games because of it. I mean, if you can get back, you and I always talk about hot and healthy going down the stretch. It already shows that they're a pretty good baseball team. But again, in baseball, you slow your roll because you don't do it. You don't believe anything until right after the All-Star break, and then when you get to that trade deadline, if you're a buyer or a seller. But man, you just kind of start to look forward. It's tough to hold your enthusiasm back, but you start to look forward and say, if the rotation can stay healthy, and you keep the back of your bullpen together, oh my goodness, we could be thinking of something we never expected this season.
Yeah, and what they're doing here with the 13 and 5 mark through the 18 games, they're buying some time, Bill, to go into a little bit of a funk here and there. And every team does. Every World Series team is going to lose 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 or get swept in a series. They're buying that time at the same time they're working through their injury bugs. And I'm a little concerned about that injury bug. It started with Tyrone Taylor and Luis Urias, and Winker was sick, and now the oblique, and then I mentioned Woody, and now Burns, and now Garrett Mitchell, and so that that's not a good trend. Well, they've purchased some time to work through that, and that's going to pay off. You're 8 games over 500 right now. Okay, say you dip to 5 games over on a little bit of a funk. You get back hot again, go back to 8 or 10. They've purchased some time, Bill, and that's really important to differentiate, and it's significant that it allows them to work through this. Make no mistake about it. They lose Burns and Woody for an extended period of time. I don't care who you are. That's going to hurt your team. And those that think that, they're just going to work right through this thing and they'll be fine and they're good. And it's Woody and Burns. That's 2 of the best pitchers in baseball. Mm-hmm. That's going to take a hit. That's going to have its toll.
Do you think that Craig Counsell is the best manager in baseball for what he has done?
People are, number one, why he is not under contract at the end of this season. I have a tote board in the studio. 144 games remaining in Craig Counsell's Brewers regular season managerial career. That Matt Arnold, when asked about it, in knee-jerk reaction was talk about the kids. Same thing with Mark Atanasio, the Brewers owner. Asked about Craig Counsell's contract. Well, he's got the kids immediately. So obviously something has been discussed. There's no doubt in my mind. That's just common sense. But is he the best? If he's not the best, he's one of longest tenured NL manager and third, I think, longest tenured manager in all of baseball. To do it under these conditions, meaning payroll and some ins and outs and some failed draft choices. Let's remember that they failed a few times in that first round and upper draft. I think he has to be considered as if he's not the best manager in baseball, he's certainly in the top 3 or 4.
I want to go to the rest of the position players that this team has, and we start to look around the field, and obviously Jesse Winker has been not necessarily above average from what he's been billed, but he's been pretty much what you thought he was going to be. Adames is having a decent season. William Contreras might be one of the best pickups this offseason of anybody when you talk about the ability to kind of fortify that catching position and what he's been able to do. And all of a sudden now, with the way the rules are, you value a guy that's got a good arm, that's got the ability to throw out some runners, and he's been able to do that. But like we said, you got Anderson and Terang and Joey Weimer and everything. But some of the veterans that they have on this team are starting to come through and playing to kind of the back of their baseball cards.
Yeah, and they need to, and they absolutely need to, and that's what's happening. We're seeing their batting average is up 263 as a team. Bill, well, I mean, really, this team has been mired in the 230s for a good chunk of the last couple of years. So that's up. Their on base percentage is up. Their run production ranks up there. Their power is still there. They were third in the NL in homers last year. Well, the home runs, I don't think we're seeing as many, but they're still 6. So as a keep the line moving type of offense, that's what those veterans need to do as well. They need to. I'm an old school guy in terms of batting average. I always start with the batting average. I think it's one of the most underrated stats out of all the stats in baseball. Why would you underrate a freaking batting average? Please. Because your on base percentage, it's a derivative of your batting average. So if their batting averages are up, that means their on base is up. And that means it's a keep the line moving type of thing. And that's the main thing I've noticed with this offense. There's always, I shouldn't say always, but quite frequently, there's traffic jams all over the place. And there's runners. Hell, in a loss in San Diego, Bill, they had 4 walks and 12 hits. Yeah, they lost the game, but think about it. There's 16 base runners right there. You continue to do that, and only good things happen.
Tim, do you like the new rules? Do you like the pitch clock? Do you like the larger bases and only being able to throw over to first base twice and all that kind of stuff? Are you a fan of it?
The biggest part of this that I love is actual pitch clock. Now the bases, being larger, and the disengagement rule is that I think it's unnoticeable unless you're watching for it. If you're watching for it, then you're doing a play clock in NFL, and you better snap it. And then there's that, that's a delay of game. Okay, if you're watching for it, you can play that game as a fan. That's fine. But I think it hasn't questioned the integrity of the game, Bill. I think when you watch a baseball game, it's still in a real macro level, overarching level, it's still the same game. And that's the really the brilliance of it, is that it's almost unnoticeable to a fan just going to a ball game. Now, yes, it's quicker for sure. We're seeing 214 in game lengths. We saw 222 the other day for the Brewer game, but it's unnoticeable, and I think that's the brilliance of it. I really do, and I think it might be the best rule ever instituted in the game of baseball in its history.
Tim, real quick before I let you go, what is the win total that you picked at the beginning of the season? I want to compare mine to yours.
I think I might have gotten away without giving one. Rather ambiguous. I said probably upper 80s to the 90 range, and because I knew that this pitching staff coming in all healthy, I can tell you, and I'm going to stick with it, they're the best pitching staff 1 through 5 in baseball. And that means Peralta the 4, Wade Miley's in the 5. You show me a team that has Peralta, Lauer, and Wade Miley as their 3, 4, 5. That used to be our 1, 2, 3 at best in Brewerland. These guys are stacked.
Tim, always great, buddy. I appreciate it. Love you like a brother, man, and we will get you on soon, okay?
Thanks, Bill, man. It's been a pleasure, and I miss you, man, and let's do it again.
Absolutely. There you go. Tim Allen, host of the Baseball Postgame Show on 97.3 The Game out of Milwaukee, and I know for those watching on the live stream, a little bit garbled when it came to some of the audio, but like I said, you're working with a little bit of a weird signal here today. But thanks to Tim for joining us, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? We can talk some Brewers baseball if you choose to do so. Big news coming out of Bucks camp today. We're going to talk with Jim Ozarski coming up in about 45 minutes from now. He covers the Bucks for the Journal Sentinel. We'll ask him what his thoughts are regarding Giannis. We should know if Giannis is in or out tonight, probably in the next 45 minutes. We're hoping to find out, but he was listed as doubtful today after they made, he didn't practice, and they said he's progressing. The back is doing better, but he did not practice, and it's disconcerting to not see Giannis on that floor coming up later on tonight. This portion of the program brought to you by our good friends over there at Burn Pit Barbecue, burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com. They have gone from the garage where they started making this stuff to now a full-blown warehouse. They're veteran-owned. They're watching their dream come true. They're based in Racine, Wisconsin, and the majority of their success has all been in the state of Wisconsin, and it's all been because of you, because you've cared enough to say, I'll try it. We like to grill. We like to barbecue. We like different rubs and sauces and stuff. They've got it. Go to Burn Pit, burnpitbbq.com. That is burnpitbbq.com. Veteran-owned, a local company right here in our own backyard in Wisconsin. Go to burnpitbbq.com. Again, burnpitbbq.com.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's Jeff Levering for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Look at that effortless horizontal window slide, letting in lots of light. And that roll, it's a double play. Like magic, the screen disappears when the window is closed. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door, featuring the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Order by April 30th and get 0% for 48 months at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes.
Crisp red apples with fresh strawberries. Cider Boy Strawberry Magic Hard Cider.
Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back on this Wednesday, the Bill Michaels Show. We continue on as I'm sitting here in Indianapolis today. It's supposed to be close to 78, 79 down here, I guess. And brought to you by our friends at Point Brewing. Point Beer was going down rather nice the other day. I have to admit, I was doing a Cider Boys. So if I get a chance to grab myself a flavored beer of some type, I usually go with Cider Boys from Point Brewing. Brewing excellence since 1857. And by the way, if you follow Point Brewing over on Facebook, Point Brewing's been around a while, and they are looking for like your collection of cans, like old Point Brewing cans. So if you have them, enter it and find all the information over on Facebook, because they're starting to do a lot of creative things. Point Brewing is good stuff. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to find us, please feel free. Good to have a good reaction for so many people listening, not only wherever you're at, but also on the stream. That I always enjoyed hearing Tim Allen. I loved working with Tim. Tim was a great guy, very honest, very upfront, understood it, got it. So we had a great time working together. Tim's good stuff. We'll get him back on a little bit more if we can. Still waiting to find out about Giannis and whether or not he's actually going to go tonight. He is listed as doubtful. And, we'll just wait and see. They were giving him more treatment, and they said he was progressing. I can only assume that it's whether it's, tissue therapy like massage, infrared, icing, whatever, flexibility, just trying to keep his back loose and trying to keep the contusion down as much as possible. But back, especially for big men, backs are so touchy. It's really tough. It's really tough. So there you go. We'll just keep your fingers crossed. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Would love to hear from you. Again, 877-867-1670. This is from Jack. Jack says, hey guys, big game tonight. Why in the world would the NBA put the Bucks on NBA TV and not on one of the national broadcasts? Don't know. It seems like you've got a bona fide. Now, unless they feel that, but this game, if I'm not mistaken, was already a couple of days ago projected to be on NBA TV. If I'm not mistaken. It's not like they saw Giannis go down with injury and they know he's not going to play tonight, so he doesn't have that superstar power, so they're going to push that game off. I think this game was correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, this game was already scheduled to be on NBA TV, correct?
I'm not sure, but that makes sense, because if you look across the rest of the slate tonight, you have a West Coast game in Timberwolves Nuggets. That's right. The late game. And then the other game is LeBron.
Right.
And LeBron trumps everything. Not to mention, like, Bucks Heat, it's 1 versus 8. That doesn't get the people going as much as Grizzlies Lakers will.
Right. You got Ja Morant
nationally
coming back. Yeah, coming back from the hand injury, and then LeBron and the Lakers. Which everybody's lips are firmly planted to the rear end over there. But I can't, you know what? We get frustrated. I get angry at it, and I start to talk to myself, and then I'm like, I get really pissed, and I start ripping the NBA. I start doing this, and then I just think, you know what? Just win the whole damn thing. Just come back, bounce back, get a win. Just win the whole damn thing. And then you're going to have your standalones. Then you're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals in a standalone. You're going to be in the NBA Finals in a standalone. And if it indeed is, Adam Silver's worst nightmare to have Milwaukee win a championship again, so be it. Then Milwaukee can give the middle finger to the rest of the NBA and the rest of the world and say, we've got the title yet again. I get angry at it. I understand it, but it's like, I think it's a lot of wasted energy, I guess. But I'm right there with you. 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, do it. John of Verona says, hey, Bill, listen to the show every day. Would it be possible to entertain this request? When referring to Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position, could you please consider replacing the team under center with in shotgun? Every time I hear under center, I wishfully think of a glory days when hitting Jordy off of a play action pass and right on the sluggo, not the recent always in shotgun garbage that we've been subjected to. Thanks so much for considering the request to keep up the great work, John in Verona. John, I will take that into consideration when I start to have those words escape my lips. I promise you I will give it a shout. This is from Steve, who says, I'm holding out hope Giannis is able to channel his inner Reggie White and miraculously heal in time for tonight's game. I know it's not likely, but I'm holding out hope. Even if he doesn't play, I can't see the Heat making 60+% of their shots again. They need energy from everybody, dial up the defense and the rebounding. By the way, did you get to Shapiro's Deli? I did not, but I am heading over today. So Kristen's got her thing goes until like 9 o'clock tonight. So once I get off the air, I'm free. And I'm going to Skyline Chili. And then I'm heading over to Shapiro's Deli. And then the Shapiro's Deli, I'm bringing back to the room. I'm hanging on to it because I'm going to take it home. But then I am heading out to Nikki Blaine's Cigar Bar tonight. Sit down, got the Bucks on the tube. I'm going to be ready to go. I'm excited for it. I'm going to watch the game there tonight. So that's my plan. But thank you for the heads up, Steve. Certainly appreciate it as always. 877-867-1670. This is from Mark. Mark says, hey, guys, in the NFC North, will the Packers still be favored, or do you think that another team is much better than them? It seems like the top three teams are all jumbled together with Chicago trailing. I don't know who to pick. It would be tough for me because I think Jordan Love, if he is the real deal, can win the division. I don't think the Vikings are nearly as good and their defense has deteriorated. Meanwhile, I just don't know if the Detroit Lions are ready to take over the top spot in the division. Thoughts? That's a great question. I think you still have to go with Minnesota until they're not. I think Minnesota proved last year, offensively speaking, that they can score with anybody. They had a lot of come-from-behind games, though. A lot of come-from-behind games. That the games they were losing 2 years ago were the games they were winning this past year. And they were winning it with the confidence in their offense and the ability to move the football. But you're right. They've lost some pieces defensively. They're in a bit of a rebuild on the defensive side right now. So I don't know if they're going to be that same team and have that same capability because they pulled a lot of magic out of that old hat last year. And the team that's getting it done, the team that really gained confidence, even though they didn't go to the postseason and still getting a win for the last game of the regular season was Detroit. They're feeling it, man. They're coming in this year with a ton. Now, they've lost a few pieces, including Jamal Williams, the running back, who was kind of the energy guy on their offense, but they were feeling it, and they're starting to believe that it's their time. So I agree with you. Unless you know Jordan Love's the real deal, I couldn't pick the Packers. So I think right now, if I have to pick the division, I'm probably going to say Vikings 1, Lions 2, Packers 3, Bears 4. That's kind of the way I'm going to go. Until the Bears prove me wrong, I'm just going to continue to pick the Bears at the bottom. And until you knock the Vikings off and Detroit says, hey, we're ready to take over the top spot, I got to go with the Vikings. Right now, I'm in limbo regarding the Green Bay Packers, to be perfectly honest with you. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. We got a lot coming up. Don't forget, after the top of the hour, Jim Ozarski for the Journal Sentinel going to join us. He's covering the Milwaukee Bucks. Maybe he brings us some good news in regards to Giannis. And knock on wood, keep your fingers crossed, all that kind of good stuff, that he's able to go tonight. But if he isn't able to go tonight, you go back to the email. You got to rebound. You got to play defense tonight, and you can't let them get off for 60+% shooting. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Kunes, Kunes. Kunes RV, the home of the big unit cruiser this year, the 2023 version of Nexus, the big unit cruiser that's going to be out and about on the road starting, I think, in a couple of weeks. And they're your travel and camping experts. And if you're in the market for a motorhome, fifth wheel, camper van, travel trailer, Kunes has you covered. Whether it's a Jayco, Forest River, Gulfstream, Heartland, Keystone, Winnebago, Redwood, so much more. You can stop in at any one of their growing dealerships all throughout the state and throughout the borders of this great state of Wisconsin. And by the way, voted #1 in Wisconsin. They are the best in Wisconsin. Stop in any one of their Cunis RV locations and take advantage right now of what they try to do. And they try to hold down that APR, that financing, and they do consignment. They take trades. They have used, and they've got an oncoming concierge service as well. So many things to make your life easier when it comes to your camping and RVing lifestyle. Go to Cunis, Kunes, CunisRV.com. That is CunisRV.com.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Don't forget, coming up just after the top of the hour, Jim Ozarski is going to be joining us from the Journal-Sentinel. We'll talk some Bucks basketball with him. And he'll be here. Hopefully we hear something on Giannis relatively soon. He was listed as doubtful today. And you're just kind of hoping that, maybe he woke up today and felt really good. Like the therapy and whatever he's been getting, the progress he's made, really expounds today, and he's feeling better, and he's able to come back and give them some minutes tonight. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends at Quick Trip. Quick Trip right now, they have a lot of different stuff. They have the fresh milk, the freshest milk, which is on special right now, $2.99 a gallon, limit 3. But whether it's the bread, the milk, the eggs, whatever it happens to be, stop into Quick Trip because, again, here in Indianapolis, you have no idea how badly I miss Quick Trip. Oh, my goodness. When you're out of the area, you miss Quick Trip so much. So don't take it for granted. Stop in and use one of the best resources we have in the state of Wisconsin. That is our friends at Quick Trip. And don't forget, they're giving away a couple of personal watercraft right now, too. So if you get in on the iGogs sweepstakes, which is the glasses, you can check it online for your Quick Rewards account and use your Quick Rewards card at the counter. And you can then get registered to win not one, but 2 personal watercrafts from our friends over there at Quick Trip. Just 2 more reasons to head into Quick Trip. A couple of questions here. This one's from Omar. Says, a unit, what if a team like the Texans or the Colts offered the Packers a couple of number ones? Why wouldn't the Packers do that deal? That's Omar in Milwaukee. If they had a couple of number ones, the Packers would do the deal in a heartbeat. The problem is you have to go to Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, the Jets aren't coming up. The value from the Texans or the Colts is this, and Rodgers is going to say, I'm not going to play for them. I don't have a shot at winning a championship. Why would I want to waste my last year playing for them? And then Rodgers could just retire and make the money, take the money. Or, you'd be hit for that money, we'll say. So you kind of get the sense that Rodgers is going to come back. He's going to play. Obviously, he's got a lot of money riding on it. But he may, if he was 90% on retirement going into the darkness, and he was content with it, if you told him, glad that you want to come back, you're going to go play for the Texans, he would retire. He would just say, no, I'm done. I'm going to retire. Most likely. I mean, I don't want to speak for Aaron Rodgers, but you would assume that's what he would say. So it's not as easy as just saying, hey, we traded you for these draft choices, because he could retire. And thus the deal is null and void. So you're trying to send him where he wants to go and get the most for him along the way, if that makes sense. Another email here. This is Trevor listening to us. He says, Unit, loved hearing Tim Allen on with you. Chuck and now Tim, the band is back together. You know what? We talking about Chuck Freeman. We did have Chuck on just on opening day, the Brewers home opener. We had a great time. Worked with both of those guys at the same place. We had just a blast. Love them both. Has anyone confirmed that from Goody that the 49ers are interested in sniffing around? They would be the best fit for Rodgers, right? That's from Trevor in Madtown. And again, it goes back to you have to talk to Rodgers, which I don't think he'd be adverse to that. But the 49ers thing, the one thing that everybody brings up right away, they don't have draft stock this year. So if you're looking to fortify your team in the here and the now, they don't have draft stock. Where this would become more relevant, if indeed it's true, would be if the Packers and the Jets did not make a deal by day 2 of the NFL draft. I think then all bets are off. I think at that point in time, then the Packers would step back and say, we are not trading Aaron Rodgers until after June 1st. And between now and June 1st, we are now opening it up. We're going to start talking to teams, and we're going to converse with Aaron. We're going to give him, or his people, we're going to give him the say in this, but we're going to open it up. And there's probably a few teams that Rodgers would consider playing for. But remember, Rodgers was the one that came on. And again, when he talks, he kind of pigeonholes himself because he said, I'm going to play for the Jets. I'm going to come back and I'm going to play for the New York Jets. So he's the one that said that, not us. It just seemed like a very good deal and a very workable trade at the time for a lot of the Jets fans that wanted to see just a different quarterback, and they felt and they feel like they've got a team worthy of getting to the postseason. So you kind of have to work with Rodgers. But if this deal doesn't get done by day 2 of the draft, I think all bets are off. I think then you just start opening it up. And you take the best deal that's in the best interest of your team in its totality. Not in the here and the now, not trying to get an additional piece right today to help out with Jordan Love. You're talking then, let's just see what we can get to fortify this team for the best haul for an aging MVP. That's the best way to do it. 877-867. You agree, disagree, what have you? Give us a shout. Real quick, another one. Love the show, unit. Would you consider tonight's game with the Heat a must-win? If they lose this one with a banged-up Giannis coming back at some point, I don't know if the Bucks have enough to overcome a 2-0 deficit. Lavelle in Bayside. Lavelle, no. Yeah, I don't know if I want to go as far as to say it's a must-win, but if they lose this one, the next one's a must-win. Absolutely. But it's close, but we're still talking about the best team in the NBA. I can't imagine that this team, with or without Giannis tonight, is going to come out and lay another egg. They shot horribly. Now, part of that was due to the heat. Part of that was just could be a layoff, whatever. I mean, say whatever you want about it. But tonight is all about defense, position, rebounding, moving the basketball, energy, all of that tonight. That's all tonight. So, no, it's not a must-win. It's not a must-win, but you feel like, and to the other side of the coin, if they win tonight without Giannis, what does that do for the confidence of this team? I mean, it's something that I'm sure they already know, they already feel, but you just got punched in the face, and you didn't play well. So if you're the Bucks and you take the court tonight and you get a win, and you do get led by your we'll say your big 3 without Giannis, with Brook Lopez and Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, if those guys lead you, and then you get, other guys going, you get Grayson Allen going, or Bobby Portis going, or Crowder going, you get other guys going, then you get that swell of confidence. You know what I mean? So if you get a win tonight, maybe a convincing win tonight, and you stay tough, you get a swell of confidence. And that way, Giannis can take his time, he can come back, because now you've reset. If you can you go into Miami 1 game apiece. If you can steal one down there, now you've reset the table to home court advantage again, and then you can let Giannis rest even more if you absolutely need to. Then you can bring it back to Milwaukee, and you may not even have to play him in game 3. Maybe you hold him off till game 4. You know what I mean? If you get a win tonight and say you win that first game in Miami without Giannis, now you're playing with house money. You don't even need Giannis to come back until then, game 4. Give him, that'll be almost, a week and a half? Damn near 2 weeks to rest. So I would, tonight's a big game for the Bucks. Tonight's a big game for the Bucks, because if you lose this game tonight, you got to bring Giannis back, right? He's got to hurry back. But if you win this game tonight, not necessarily. You could then hang him out one more game. and let them rest up. So in that sense, you'd like to get the win tonight. But good stuff. 877-867-1670. Hit us up. 877-867-1670. Would love to hear from you. Hey, our friends over there at Sloppy Joe's and Smoke on the Water out in Oconomowoc. Don't forget they've got the pup crawl this weekend on Sunday. And it benefits Sierra Delta, helping raise money and awareness for veterans in need of service animals. So check out our friends at Smoke on the Water. Check them out on Facebook. Go to Smoke on the Water on Okachi Lake, Smoke on the Water BBQ Okachi, and you can see for yourself everything they have going on this weekend. But the pup crawl is coming up this Sunday, and it's always fun. You get to walk bar to bar. You take your dogs with you. Everybody's just having a blast. I don't think the weather's going to be great, honestly, but at least you get out, you walk around, you're doing something good, and you're helping veterans and, the need for service animals. So good stuff going on this weekend. Smoke on the Water on Okachi Lake. And also don't forget our friends out there, same owners, Sloppy Joe's Saloon and Spoon on Hubertus in Hubertus. That's coming up this weekend.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's Jeff Levering for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Look at that effortless horizontal window slide, letting in lots of light. And that roll, it's a double play. Like magic, the screen disappears when the window is closed. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door, featuring the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Order by April 30th and get 0% for 48 months at PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Hey, our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, reminding you that Pella, best windows, most chosen by homeowners and such in the state of Wisconsin as well. And, I love them. We have had wacky weather. One day I'm getting a sunburn. It's 83 degrees. 2 days later, it's snowing like crazy. It's just wacky. And in the state of Wisconsin, you need good windows and doors. Keep the outside out, the inside in, and that's the way it should be. Give yourself curb appeal, beautification, value to your home, and safety and security when you lay your head on your pillow at night. Those are all the great reasons to get a hold of our friends at PellaWI.com. Go to Pella, P-E-L-L-A, PellaWI.com. That is PellaWI.com. or call them 855-PELLA-WI, 0% financing, 48 months right now. And you can call today for the free in-home consultation. No joke, no strings attached, free in-home consultation. Call them 855-PELLA-WI. That's 855-PELLA-WI. So, Ben, this is not good news. This is not good news. Christian Yelich has posted on Twitter. Now, it's a goofy picture, I know. He says, waking up after a West Coast late night swing. It's not a video, though. This doesn't count, does it?
I don't think so.
This doesn't count.
I'm going to have to check the tapes because on April 9th, he did tweet out a picture of him with the cheesehead hat. That was after his last home run, I believe, at home.
Mm-hmm.
And after that game, it did not go great until last night.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to check the game logs.
It's not a video, so it's not the jinxing video. So a picture, I think we're okay with. But, this show can only do so much to revive the career of one Christian Yelich. There's only so much we can do. So we're trying. But if he's going to post stuff
after the last picture,
after
the last picture, Bill, he went 2 for his next 14. Oh no, excuse me, 2 for his next 18, which is reminiscent of previous ones. So we'll be monitoring it.
Okay,
I'm not going to say it's bad.
Book it now. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, go ahead. Would love to hear from you. Okay. By the way, the poll question over on Twitter, you can chime in on. 193 votes have been cast. We are 8 days away till the NFL draft, and Aaron Rodgers still has not been traded. When will the trade happen, if at all? 32% of you say just before round 1. 14% of you say day 2. 27% of you say after June 1st, and 25.9% of you say something else happens in all of this. The conspiracy minded. So hang in there. We got a lot more to get to when it comes to that as well. Real quick, I got another couple of emails I wanted to get to. This one says, Unit, never thought about tonight's game in that way. If they win, then Giannis could get an extra game off to fully recover. Good point. Dare to dream, but if the Bucks win tonight, they will need a much better effort. Is Coach Bud the man to get these guys up and bring the energy? He always sounds like a depressed turtle when I hear him speak. That's from Cassie in Heartland. The guys won a championship. So, I mean, I don't want to downplay your question, Cassie, but I think as head coaches will tell you, there is a time to kind of, quote, crack the whip. But for the most part, you just stay steady. You stick with what got you there. And there are times to show your confidence and elevate a little bit. I think tonight it will be the first couple minutes of the game will be the energy minutes for the Bucks and for the crowd. Because the last time the crowd witnessed anything that of this team on the court, they were leaving midway through the fourth quarter and bailing out of there like rats on a sinking ship because the Bucks were just playing so horrifically and Giannis was down. It was a somber atmosphere. So I think tonight the first couple of minutes of this game will be what the Bucks bring to the table and how the crowd responds to that when you talk about energy. Just so you know. This one says, hey, Bill, when are you coming down to Cortez's again for the cigar dinner? Cortez's, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com, The Bill Michaels Show or The Bill Michaels Show on Instagram. And the schedule's there. The cigar dinners are there. I think Cortez's is either our first or second one in June, like the second week of June. So check that out. He said, if the Packers don't trade Rodgers next Thursday, then I say screw him and sell him off to the first bidder that's not the Jets. This crap has gone on way too long. And then he says, why do you defend Mark Murphy so much? Just asking, not totally disagreeing with you. And that's Scott listening to us in Caledonia. Because Mark Murphy's responsibility is the overall team. I get it. But he's not the one that's making all of those personnel decisions. He's not playing on the field. And also he's tasked with the major object at hand is to keep the team overall viable and monetarily stable. So you never have to worry about losing the team that doesn't have a legitimate, big owner, so to speak. They've been a competitive team. They've been a winning team for the most part. They've had two things thrown at them by superstars that some of it might have been their own doing, but it takes two to tango, and it's there are things about the organization that I really love, and there's things that I don't. And I think you can talk about most organizations and most companies that way, but the team is valuable. The team is financially thriving. The construction and the growth of the Packers, so to speak, Incorporated has been exponential. Under his leadership, he's taken what Bob Harlan built and he's run with it. Yeah, you'd like to see more championships, but he's not responsible for Aaron Rodgers and what goes on and trying to trade a guy away and this and that. He's in on those conversations, but as Bob Harlan told him, let football people do football things and you worry about the business of football. And he's done a good job at doing that. So have there been missteps? Yes. But overall, the team's not going anywhere. They're financially strong, and that's his major concern. But obviously, it correlates to the product on the field as well. So anyway, let's do this. Jim Ozarski of the Journal-Sentinel, he's going to join us. We're going to talk some Bucks basketball. Will Giannis play tonight? That's a big question. That's a big question. Will Giannis play tonight? Hope to find out. We got more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers were 6-5 winners last night in 11 innings against Seattle. Willie Adames drove in what proved to be the winning run in the top of the inning. Then Bryce Wilson managed to close it. On the bottom. Bullpen handled things the rest of the way, dropping their MLB best ERA to 2.05. Magic Craig Counsell was asked about that group afterwards.
They've been great, and if they could be better tonight, if there's a better word for that tonight, they were. Just a heck of a job. A whole bunch of guys delivering big outs and tough innings and putting up zeros. And they've been wonderful, and they were again tonight.
Milwaukee will go for the series sweep this afternoon. Turning the Bucks, they're going to face Miami in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series tonight. They trail 1-0. The team listed Giannis Antetokounmpo as doubtful for the game with a back injury. Coach Mike Budenholzer said yesterday they were holding out hope he could go. Tip tonight is at 8.
Make the grade, get paid. Skinner Driven, a division of Skinner Transfer, makes it easy for you to drive into a new career. Skinner Driven waives your tuition if you sign on with Skinner. Plus, you get paid an hourly wage while in CDL school and training. No wonder Skinner has been voted once again one of the best places to work in Wisconsin. Make the grade, get paid. Find out more at SkinnerTransfer.com. Skinner Transfer, for people born to work independently. For more info, search Skinner Driven.
We're now just more than a week away from the NFL draft. Things get going next Thursday in Kansas City. Packers own 10 picks, including the 15th overall. The number of picks could increase if Green Bay and New York can come to an agreement on a trade for quarterback Aaron Rodgers prior to the draft getting going. And Wisconsin going to hold a practice open to fans on Saturday at Camp Randall Stadium. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil, print.
Welcome back to the program. Glad to have you. Bill Michaels Show. on the air. We wait to see if indeed Giannis is going to be able to go. You certainly hope that he is. If he can, that's a huge boost to this Bucks team, who obviously needs him. But as we stated last hour, if by chance, let's just say the Bucks are able to get the win tonight without Giannis, that goes a long way. It allows Giannis an extra game of rest if needed, and in addition to that, it also gives this team confidence. So I think there's twofold if they can get a win without Giannis. And now we wait and see if Giannis is actually able to go this evening. So cross your fingers. 877-867-1670. We're going to talk with Jim Ozarski of the Journal-Sentinel coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We'll chat with him about this Bucks team. And hopefully Jim, who is, you said just give him a couple of minutes. Hopefully he's getting word as to whether or not Giannis is going to be able to play. Obviously, the Bucks having a shoot-around today, getting ready for the Heat tonight down at the Fiserv Forum. That game can be seen. Now, I will say this, because I know people were telling me, like, I'm in Indianapolis right now. Nationally, I would either have to get it on TBS, ABC, TNT, or the NBA Network to watch the game. If you don't get the NBA Network, so I would assume Nikki Blaine's does, which is where I'm going to go and watch the game tonight. Or I think they also have it over at Buffalo Wild Wings, which is a block away from where I'm at. One of those two places should have it. So I'm going to get a chance to watch it, because here in the hotel, they don't have NBA TV. But in the state of Wisconsin, Bally's will have it. So at least you'll get the home call, and you'll be able to watch the game on Bally's and be able to check out the Bucks in that form. But except for those of you who don't have Bally's, unfortunately. But the Bucks tonight taking on the Heat, game 2 of that series, getting underway at the Fiserv Forum. And we talked about it earlier. I mean, if you are going to the game tonight, you need the energy. You need the energy tonight. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. Like I said, just waiting on Jim Ozarski, and Jim is hopefully, knock on wood, finding out that Giannis is able to play tonight. But it was listed as doubtful coming into today. Just an FYI, it was listed as doubtful. So we'll see. Not promising anything. By the way, coming out of the NFL, NFLTradeRumors.com says that the Vikings did discuss trading for Trey Lance at the NFL Combine. That there was a discussion with the 49ers about the possibility of trading for Trey Lance. So, again, that throws more shade into the 49ers if indeed by day 2 the Packers don't work out a deal with the Jets, and then you're pretty much looking for next year anyway. Then maybe they jump into the mix and trade with the 49ers and could possibly have them leverage against the Jets. So we'll get more into that a little bit later. Joining us now over on the hotline, though, our guy Jim Ozarski from the Journal-Sentinel is on the line. Jim, how you doing, pal?
I'm good, Bill. How are you?
We're good. We're just kind of waiting on word. Any update on Giannis?
No, not as we speak. There's a shoot around this morning, but at home, access is pretty restricted. They did not let us up for the final moments of it to see, who was on the court. So he's listed as doubtful. Generally speaking, Bill, NBA players who are doubtful the day of a game don't play. But I will allow that this is Giannis. This is the playoffs. And he did this. This happened once before, the different injury. Coming out of the All-Star break, February 24th, he was listed as doubtful with that right wrist sprain. We all remember that injury. And he ended up playing that night against Miami, no less, and left early with a different injury. But so I guess there's precedent. Obviously, much different scenario. But we'll just have to see pregame, really, if Giannis it warms up or not.
Tell me about this team without Giannis, because I was sitting here saying, look, two things. If they win tonight, one, it actually gives the Bucks options as to whether or not to play Giannis in Game 3, because now it's not a must-win, obviously. So it gives them options, and it then would give this team without Giannis confidence enough to say, hey, we can do this. We can get through this series without our big man if we absolutely positively have to. So tonight, even though Giannis may not be there, it's a big game for those two reasons, correct?
Oh, it's without. Actually 11-6 when all of the other starters and rotation players were available. Two of those losses came at the end of the year when nobody played. So 11-6 without the MVP finalists. That's not a bad record when you think about it. So in terms of preparing to play this game, the Bucks are in a good place, right? Bobby Portis averages 17 and 10, Bill, when he starts. That's not nothing. So I think in terms of that, there's really no, I don't think, lack of confidence or concern with this Bucks team. I think they know they're better than the Heat. I realize that Reggie Miller caught some stuff here, but the Tyler Hero absence is a huge problem for Miami. Maybe Duncan Robinson can run around and make some threes and cause a problem, but there's a reason why Eric Spoelstra had no intention of playing him this series or even the last year or so. So I get what you're saying. I think if because it's the playoffs, if Giannis can go in game 3, I think he'd go regardless. But tonight is big. You don't want to look. They worked all year for home court. You don't want to drop 2 games to the 8th seed and just have to climb that hole. And all of a sudden, the Cavs or Knicks are waiting there, and you're just dragging this thing out for 3 weeks.
If Giannis does not go tonight, how deep does Bud go into the bench?
Great question. Wesley Matthews is also out, right calf strain. He went 10 deep, in game 1. Was that a function of Giannis getting hurt, or was that the plan? I don't know. Well, and Bud really, really does not talk about rotations. But now you're talking about 2 of those 10 guys probably being out. Pat Connaughton, DNP, game 1, and you figure he's going to be worked in. I could see 9 guys for sure. Maybe depending on Drew Holiday's workload, how do they feel about Goran Dragic, or does Javon Carter play a little more? I could see the 8 or 9 for sure, because I just feel, Bill, Pat's going to play. Bobby's got to start. So where does that third big? This is where Myers Leonard comes in. Now the Heat go small. So maybe if Brooke and Bobby start, does Bud, how does he do the rotations after that? Do they go real small? And if that's the case, it could be interesting if Jay Crowder's minutes go up, or if maybe, again, do you go in the backcourt and add some minutes there with the Dragic or something like that.
Is this a big night for Lopez Adebayo, trying to defend him and then also trying from beyond the arc, maybe not necessarily working it inside consistently, but beyond the arc, hitting a couple of shots, spreading out that defense a little bit, so then when you do go big, you can pound it inside?
Typically shoot way more threes. So now that said, they do have a size advantage even with Giannis out. So I don't think they're going to break from their identity. Like, why change what you do? You won 58 games. Why overreact? I could see some set 40-plus threes. So I hesitate to ride the fence on that question, Bill, but I guess I could see a little bit of both. Like, maybe get the big fella going early inside, but then as the game goes on, don't be surprised if you see 45 to 50 threes again from the Bucks.
You got to have Middleton tonight. You got to have Holiday. You got to have Lopez. Who else kind of has to be? I know you can spread it out and maybe say your unsung guy, but who kind of has to be that unsung guy tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the easy one is Portis,
because he's going to get the start. But I feel Bobby's just been so consistent that they almost expect him to do double kind of work. I'm going to go with Grayson Allen. He's the other starter. He's a guy who, when Giannis plays, his life is easier. There's more open threes. But if the Heat are only going to go, 8 deep again without Hero and they're dipping into that bench, I don't know, Bill. I think this is a game where you're right. You've got the 4 stars. Grayson's a starter for a reason. It might be a good day for him to hit. I mean, even if it's 9 points, or 4 threes, it may not sound like a lot, but that could be a big difference. I'll go with Allen.
Where do you fit Crowder into this mix? They picked him up at the trade deadline. He was going to be that extra piece to really kind of give him the toughness and put him a little bit over the top and kind of be, the junkyard dog, but with a shooting capability. Where does he fit into all of this?
Yeah, his role might expand today, Bill, with Matthews being out. I mean, and Giannis being out, meaning if they thought they were going to adjust off, by pulling Holiday off Butler and swapping Giannis back onto Butler like they did 2 years ago, well, that option's off the table. So I guess I can't see why Bobby wouldn't start, but if he doesn't, it would make sense then if it's Crowder, because then maybe you move Holiday off Butler, give Jay that assignment to start, and you keep kind of your bench rotation. And that's the Bucks, quote unquote, going small with maybe only one guy. Look, if Holiday starts on Butler again, makes sense. Then Jay comes in and he takes up more of those minutes. But again, they're going to have to be a little better at making it tough on Jimmy Butler in that short mid-range area. They know what he likes to do. They've seen it for years. There are no surprises here, Bill. I think it's just a matter of them being better at it than they were in game 1.
Before I let you go, Coach Bud, obviously I was asked a question a little while ago about, does Coach Bud have that ability, that motivational ability? Because as they put it, it sounds like at times he's a sleepy turtle. When he speaks, he's not a rah-rah guy. I mean, so tonight I look at the first 3 minutes of the opener, and watch how this team reacts, watch the energy of the Fiserv Forum, see if they kind of bring it with that tenacity that we're hoping for tonight. And without Tyler Hero, which I feel is a huge loss because he's always thrown some big dagger buckets at the Bucks. Without Tyler Hero, the Bucks shouldn't win easily, but they should win this game, in my opinion, right?
Yeah, I mean, they are the better team. Clearly, look, I would be surprised if the Bucks lose. Whether it's a close game or not, is irrelevant, I guess. But I would be surprised if they lose. And Spoelstra is a very good coach. Mike Budenholzer is a very good coach. The Bucks are just a better team, and they have been all year, clearly. I mean, right? That's why the Heat had to lose a game and win a game to even get to this spot. I mean, to me, with this kind of team, Bill, this is on the players. I mean, the core is a championship core. The guys who haven't won titles have been to NBA finals with other teams. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I get why the Budenholzer question comes up, but this is a player team, in my opinion. And yeah, there's some strategies, there's rotations, there's scheme. I'm not diminishing that, but let's really be real about it. This is the 3rd most expensive team in basketball with a defensive player of the year, a 6th man of the year, an MVP, a 3-time All-Star in Chris Middleton. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's on the players to really step up tonight.
Jim, you the man, and if anything breaks, let us know. Give me a shout. But like you said, usually if you're listed as doubtful, you're probably not going to play in a game. But then again, we know that Giannis has a cape somewhere in his house, so maybe he throws on the Superman cape. We'll wait and see. Good stuff, Bud. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, Bill. Talk to you soon.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. Jim Ozarski, the Journal Sentinel, joining us for a few minutes on the hotline and getting some I wanted to say getting some optimism. He thinks they're going to win. My optimism comes from if we would have heard Giannis is indeed going to play. But again, like he said, they should win for all the reasons he just gave. It shouldn't really be incumbent upon Bud to get them up for this. They've been there, done that. They're accustomed to this. And I agree with everything that he shed light on. 100%. I agree with everything he's shed light on. That this is kind of on the players. This is up to the players. And you get the win tonight, and it really does ease things. You gain that confidence you can win without him. 2, you give him another game to where he doesn't have to come back. You've got another level of sittability, of restability, of get better ability. So big one tonight for the Bucks to really come out and put their emphasis on all of this and thus be able to get a win. And if they do get a win, then life as we know it for the Milwaukee Bucks, at least for the time being, gets back to a little bit sense of normalcy, and you can breathe a little bit. So not a bad way to go. 877-867-1670, 877-867 67. If you want to hit us up, by all means, go ahead and give us a shout. We'd love to hear from you. Again, 877-867-1670. Got a lot of the Bill Michaels Show coming up. This portion of the program brought to you by our friends over there at the ICHC, which is the Irish Cultural Heritage Center. It's right on West Wisconsin Avenue. And if you get a hold of my buddy Corey, he just texted me moments ago, and he said, hey, look, got a lot coming up. Thursday, Jiff Jam, 7 o'clock. Friday, Davis Howley, 7 o'clock. Sunday, Alistair Frazier and Natalie Haas. That's at 4:30. And they're all phenomenal in their own rights. But they have these 3 great musical lineups coming up this weekend at the Irish Cultural Heritage Center. So if you want tickets, if you want to check it out, go to ICHC.net, ICHC.net, or just call my buddy Corey, 414-345-8800, 414-345-8800. Again, 414-345-8800. A lot of good stuff going on at the Irish Cultural Heritage Center.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's Jeff Levering for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Look at that effortless horizontal window slide, letting in lots of light. And that roll, it's a double play. Like magic, the screen disappears when the window is closed. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door, featuring the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Order by April 30th and get 0% for 48 months at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back on this Wednesday. Bill Michaels Show, brought to you by our friends at Lisa Lee Ortel Real Estate. She can help you with all your real estate needs, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest. You can follow her on Facebook. You can email her at lisamoveswi@gmail.com. And her team of experts, they work with you so they can get you a really good closing cost, low closing cost, and help you get that mortgage financing on loans that, obviously are coming up in a year in which the interest rate's been up and down. But she's also works a lot with VA loans, too. So if you're a veteran and you got a VA loan, she can help you out with that. She's also a certified condo specialist. So give Lisa a call, 414-617-6798. 414-617-6798. That is from our friends at Land & Stone Realty and Lisa Lee Ortel Real Estate. Get a hold of Lisa, especially if you're in Milwaukee, if you're in Racine, if you're in Kenosha County, Walworth County, if you're in those areas. She's got you covered. Lisa Lee Ortel, 414-617-6798. And give her a shout. Tell her we sent you. A couple of pieces of breaking news. First of all, right here in the state of Wisconsin, which I think is pretty cool, the United States Speed Skating Association said in 2025, the World Cup is coming to Milwaukee. So you know, the World Cup is coming to Milwaukee. Going to be at the Pettit Center coming up in 2025. That news breaking. So you got that going on. Also, and I had mentioned this a little earlier, that the poll question, by the way, it has not changed a lot, but some numbers have moved. 209 votes in. If you follow me over on Twitter, at Bill_Michaels, you can find us there. The poll question: we're 8 days away till the NFL draft. Aaron Rodgers has not been traded. When will it happen, if at all? Just before round one, 32% of you say then. Day two of the draft is the last choice, 14.4%. After June 1st, 27.8%. And then something else happens. Something else jumps into the mix. That is 25.4% of you, for all of you that are voting. So there you go in that sense. Also, the NFL just made an announcement. The Draft Concert Series is going to be headlined by the bassist and vocalist Thundercat leading things off, and then Motley Crue.
I don't care.
Motley Crue to then be followed by Fall Out Boy. They've used Fall Out Boy before. Fall Out Boy, their music has been used by the NFL as well. But Fall Out Boy's one of them. Then Motley Crue, and then Thundercat. Musical announcement there. Just I'd throw that out there. How you like that, Ben? You a Fall Out Boy, Motley Crue, or Thundercat fan, or none of the above?
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. Can't say I dislike them. I'm just out on music generally.
Okay.
These days.
Gotcha. Okay. Good stuff.
Except if, listen, if they get the Dropkick Murphys to do whatever draft show, I'm in. I think that's the one group that would do it for me.
Okay. Didn't they do? No, they did baseball. I was going to say, I thought they did something, but it was baseball. It wasn't football. So, okay. Well, we'll keep that in mind. Dropkick Murphys, by the way, just making a recent appearance at a Milwaukee Admirals game. So I don't think they're going to be back in town anytime soon.
Which I am sad that I missed.
Yes. Completely agree. 877-867.
They headline my workout playlist.
Do they?
Which you can imagine what the energy is like there.
I can see that. I can see that. Music in today's day and age is how do you put it? every year we always say music today isn't good. First, it was the synthesized music back in the 80s after the massive stadium bands in the 70s. The 90s, it was the influx and the change of pop and rock and grunge and hip hop. And, you had all the diversities. And then it was the boy bands, remember? And then you had the single artists that really didn't play music. It was all the creation of, and then that started to fall apart. And now I think we're back to some better bands, a lot of country, a lot of new artists, a lot of new rappers. There's really a vast array of hip hop now, a larger array of pop. Country is just blown up. We all know that. Even go back to the punk era, when punk became, and the British invasion, of punk became in the 80s and 90s and such. So, but I'm good. I'm good. Got a whole different weird playlist that I go through on my in Spotify. So anyway, Brett says, by the way, excited for tonight, Bill. I really do believe that losing Hero is a big loss for the Miami Heat that the media isn't mentioning. I feel like the Bucks are going to come out swinging right at the beginning, attacking the paint. I saw guys like Goran Crowder and the bench players. I think they're going to come up clutch. He says Pat is going to hit some huge shots with Lopez and Holiday stepping up. Go Bucks, fear the deer. Mickey Six and Jerry Jones Mickey Six baby sat Jerry Jones. Punk music all day by Andrew. And Bill, not sure if you remember, my name is AJ BOCCC. AJ Bocchini. I kind of remember that. I can't remember from what, though. Jason says, morning, Bill. The hookah must have been phenomenal. We went to a hookah bar last night, just north of town. And it was, you talk about a chill vibe in that place. It was cool. I mean, really cool. But the hookahs were massive. I mean, they came up to like my hip. They were huge. By the way, I did not have a hookah last night. Kristen did. I did not. I had a couple of Coronas last night. I was driving, so I didn't want to drink too much. I just had a couple of beers, and that was it. So, but we were walking around that area. There's a little eclectic area just northeast of the city, the downtown area. We went over that way last night. But anyway, thanks for noticing. Appreciate it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. Still got a lot to get to. Another hour and a half yet to go in the show. We have the poll question going. This is from Nordic Dave, who says, no worries about it tonight. I'm heading down to the game. I'll bring the energy. I'll get people on their feet. I'll be the one annoying the hell out of Bucks fans if they don't get up and go crazy. Need to bring it tonight, Bucks fans. That's Nordic Dave. Nordic Dave, you to me. Good stuff.
Oh, everybody loves that guy, Bill.
Nordic Dave?
The everybody stand-up guy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody loves him.
It's like you're at a football game you're already at.
Yeah, everybody
Baseball.
It loves him until you don't. And I know that's a really obvious statement, but when things are going good and everybody's up, he's like, come on. I'm like, I'm right there with you. Let's go. And then you'll go like a 18-3 run by the Heat. They need you now more than ever. You're like, shut the hell up. Sit down. They're getting their ass kicked. No energy. But he's the guy that keeps going, man. I give him all the credit in the world. I don't know if I could do it. I'm not a stand-up and, go crazy kind of guy. I love good plays. I love big plays. But I'm the guy that just sits there, not like a bump on the log. I mean, I'll cheer. Don't get me wrong. But I just soak it all in. Because in my mind, I'm strategizing. In my mind, I'm looking at how that play was set up and watching rotations and all that kind of stuff. So I look at it a different way, I guess. But yeah, Nordic Dave. So if you are in a section where a guy is getting a little wild, getting a little crazy, won't sit down, just say, hey, is your name Nordic Dave? Are you Nordic Dave? Nordic Dave, heard you on the Bill Michaels Show. Sit the hell down. There you go. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Go ahead and give us a shout. Would love to hear from you. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's all coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
The weather is wacky. That's an understatement. We all know that. But if you're looking to get away, maybe take a cruise, maybe take to an all-inclusive. I know I got some friends at Punta Cana right now. Hey, if you're looking to do something, maybe you just want to get out of the craziness for just a little bit, get a hold of our friends Kirk and the gang over there at Cruise Planners, your land and cruise vacation specialists, and they can help you out, whether it's a getaway for a weekend, 4 or 5 days, or maybe you want that trip of a lifetime. You want to go overseas, you want to travel internationally, they can help you out. They can set it up. All you got to do is call them 262-344-0697, 262-344-0697. Again, 262-344-0697. And get yourself into a nice situation. Speaking of nice situation, we only have a few nice situations available left for the Viroqua Hills Golf Course for the Bill Michaels Open. Fast coming in a couple of weeks. Saturday, May 6th, we're all getting together, Ben, Kenny, myself. We're heading out to Viroqua Hills Golf Course. And I got to be honest, I didn't think we'd have this many people, but it is damn near close to selling out. It went from let's get 4 or 5 foursomes together, to see if we can get 10, to let's see if we can get 20. And then it's like, well, we can put 2 on each hole. Let's just go with 36. And now we're only a foursome or 2, I think, maybe at the most away from completely selling out. So if you're a single, if you're a double, if you're a foursome, whatever, call 608-637-7615. You get golf, you get your cart. There's going to be food afterwards from Kickapoo Corners. They're going to cater it. We're going to have a great time. Great time. So please come on out. Again, Viroqua Hills Golf Course out in Viroqua, Wisconsin for the Bill Michaels Open Saturday, May 6th. You can call right now. Call Ryan, 608-637-7615, 608-637-7615, and only a couple spots remain, and that's it. That's it. Good stuff. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Breaking news. Scott Grodzki from CBS 58 in Milwaukee says that Giannis has been upgraded to questionable. Upgraded to questionable. That's huge. Ben, do you think he plays tonight?
I do, after seeing that. And after seeing the betting line, which was at 6.5, Bucks were favored.
Mm-hmm.
And it has risen a bit. I think it's risen to 8.5 in some places.
It may be words leaking out that the treatment has been successful and he's going to give it a go. So there you go. Good news if you are indeed a Bucks fan, that it looks like, at least for right now anyway, he's been upgraded to questionable, from doubtful to questionable, and it looks like Giannis is going to try to give it a go. So nothing written in stone yet. Don't quote me on that, but Scott Grodzki from CBS 58 has said, he's been upgraded. So that's great. 877-867-1670. Find us, hit us up. We'd love to hear from you. Again, 877-867-1670 if you want to give us a shout. Hey, I just got a note here from Jeffrey, who said he's just east of West Bend, Wisconsin. Says some severe stuff rolling through. I have not even looked at the radar, to be honest with you, because I'm not there. But you are correct. After checking the radar, now I'm watching some of the news stations too throughout the state talk about some of the storms, but from West Bend all the way down through, I guess, the Oconomowoc area, Waukesha area, draping all the way down, just passing Janesville now. More say like maybe like what the Whitewater, Delavan type of area, East Troy. Yeah, it's pretty severe stuff rolling through the state right now. So if you're in those areas and you're listening to us, be careful. Be on the lookout. We want to make sure you're all safe and healthy and happy. There you go. Yeah, Ben.
I will also take submissions of pictures of the hail and size and comparisons to other objects, which could be anything. You could compare them to a grape, things of that nature. I'll take those on Twitter at Benzie County.
All right. 877-867-1670. Two things real quick. My friend Carmen in La Crosse said, is it a scramble for the Bill Michaels Open? It is. Shotgun start 1 o'clock. It is a scramble. Yes, it is best ball scramble. So just so we're all clear, I'm getting some questions about that. And Carmen just texted me, and I thought, I'll make the announcement to everybody. But yes, to answer your question, Carmen, yes, it is. Also, some other news. Garrett Mitchell in the house with that left arm in a sling. The Brewers are expecting more information about this injury, but Garrett Mitchell is in the house, but the left arm is in a sling, and that is not good for the Brewers. So, I mean, you cross your fingers that, he'll heal up sooner rather than later, obviously, but yeah, not what you wanted to hear. The arm is in a sling. So, there you go. By the way, speaking of, and I know before we had, talked a little bit, and the mention of Reggie Miller came up when we had Jim Ozarski on. This is Reggie Miller talking about Giannis and Tyler Hero and, the injuries and such. This is what he had to say. Take a listen.
I don't know if it really took either team out of their game, but clearly the MVP out of the Kumbo means so much for Milwaukee. But they're used to playing without him. 11-8 without Giannis. And you see the game that Middleton and Holiday have had for the Bucks. So they've been able, and OG, Bobby Portis has been great. It's a bigger loss not having Hero for Miami. His ability to handle the basketball, shoot the basketball, pretty good at the defensive end. Where does Spoelstra go now? Because he's done for the rest of the series. Hero, we assume that Giannis is coming back at some point in this series. At some point.
So there you go. Reggie Miller's basically saying, look, the Bucks are 11-8 without Giannis. They've played without him 19 games this season. They played without Giannis this season. They clearly are equipped. They have good talent. They can win this upcoming game. While Tyler Hero, a guy that handles the basketball and hits clutch shots, and I can't emphasize enough how many times, even go back to when the Bucks were in the bubble, how many times Tyler Hero came up big with threes against the Bucks. And I agree. Kurt Hogg said the same thing over on Twitter, that the Tyler Hero loss for Miami is much larger. Oh, excuse me. Kurt Hogg just said that the Brewers have indeed placed Garrett Mitchell on the 10-day injured list with a left shoulder subluxation. So there you go. Blake Perkins has been recalled. Been recalled. So there you go. But
guess who also homered today, Bill?
Keston Hira.
Yep.
There you go.
Another one.
Another bomb for Keston.
His OPS in Nashville is Barry Bonds-like.
He is the Barry Bonds of the minor leagues, isn't he? He just can't get that to correlate to the majors for whatever reason, unfortunately. But, Keston Hira is the Barry Bonds of the minor league system.
We also played this on Monday after that Reggie Miller bit when he said Hero's a bigger loss for the Heat than Giannis is for the Bucks. Have you ever heard Reggie try to say Giannis's name from like last All-Star break or two All-Star breaks ago?
No.
Oh, it's incredible. Listen to this.
He put you the hell out of
The
it?
captain of this
That's why people just call him Giannis. It's if you don't hear it on the daily and you don't get it on the daily, then you struggle, So he goes by Giannis. He is up there with Madonna and Cher and Batman, that type of thing. And Shaq, Kareem. That's all you need to know. And you know exactly who you're talking about. Giannis. Yes.
Or just, do your job better as a broadcaster.
That too.
Saying the names of the players.
Yeah, that too. I can go along with that. Hey, if you want to do your job, there you go. The one thing I can do is say Buzzard Billy's and the Starlight Lounge, both on Pearl Street in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Buzzard Billy's since 1997 in that old brick hotel. I love that place. I just saw some of their food over there on Facebook, and they put out such great pictures, and it just makes your mouth drool. And if you're looking for seafood, if you're looking for Cajun, if you're looking for po' boys, all that kind of good stuff, that's Buzzard Billy's. Step in, go to the bar, get a cold one, great dinner, sit there and watch a game, fantastic. But say you want to go upstairs, maybe it's a date night, get yourself a cocktail. The cocktail lounge, the Starlight Lounge, located on the second floor of that building on Pearl Street, and it almost feels like the Rat Pack is going to come walking out of the back and start singing to you. It's great martinis, great wines, scotches, bourbons. They've got it. The Buzzard Billy's downstairs, Starlight Lounge upstairs. You cannot go wrong. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Hello, baseball fans. Jeff Levering here, calling the action with the amazing team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And what a roster we have. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Wow, what a smooth glide. Pella's sliding windows are incredibly easy to maneuver, wider than they are tall. They glide horizontally, letting in lots of natural light and unobstructed views. And that roll, it's a double play. Pella's premium roll screens operate like magic. Close the window and the screen rolls away completely out of sight. Now that is slick. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Pella Reserve patio doors offer virtually unlimited sizes and custom colors, and they're backed up with the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Pella sure is one heck of a 5-tool player, and you can bring any number of their all-star innovations home for 0% for 48 months when you order by April 30th. Visit PellaWI.com for this amazing deal.
Certain restrictions apply.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Phil Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. Bill Michaels Show continuing on. Great Lakes Dragaway in Union Grove. If you have the need for speed, that's a place to go. The oldest continuously operating track in the world, right here in our own backyard. Union Grove, Wisconsin, down Racine, Kenosha. Call them 262-302-2138. 262-302-2138. The season passes are on sale right now. Go to Great Lakes Dragaway.com. You can rent the track. You can run your car. You can run your motorcycle. You can bring your friends. You can rent the track for an hour, 2 hours, a whole day, whatever it happens to be. Great Lakes Dragaway down in Union Grove, Wisconsin. Again, go to GreatLakesDragaway.com. That is GreatLakesDragaway.com. There you go. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. Chuck says, the weather, he said, it's probably what went through La Crosse around 7 this morning. Steve says, when and where is Motley Crue? Motley Crue, Fall Out Boy, and Thundercat will be the headliners for the draft, the draft, NFL Draft Concert Series. That was the announcement a little bit earlier. So there you go. Just wanted to let you know. 877-867-1670. You can find us there. What else do we have? Got all kinds of stuff today. Just getting into the potpourri of stuff. This one is from Elroy, who says, boy, it's a shame that Garrett Mitchell goes down with that type of an injury, having a hell of a season so far. Hopefully he can come back and pick up where he left off. I agree. Whenever you see one of the guys that are, one of the young guys specifically that are just raking, you know, when anybody's having a good season, you know, you don't want to do anything to mess it up, right? You just, you know, you don't step on the line, you don't, you know, whatever your superstitions are, that's what you do, you know? And when guys all of a sudden who are really having tremendous seasons go down with some type of an injury, that's at least it's 10 days. You know, it's not like it's going to be, you know, a month or two, but they say the 10-day injured list, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it's not longer than that. But it is a left shoulder subluxation. I have no idea what that means. Ben, do you know what subluxation is? Do you know what that means? By any chance?
I can't say I don't think I've dealt with it.
I've heard it before. I just don't know specifically what it means. I don't know what subluxation is. I don't know if that's like something in the joint or the bursa sac around the joint or what. I have no idea. But
I have a definition for you.
Give it to me.
It is a slight misalignment of the vertebrae regarded in chiropractic theory as the cause of many health problems. So I would assume it's something structural that is somewhat out of place.
A misalignment
in the shoulder.
In the shoulder. So in other words, well, I don't want to say
partially dislocated.
Yeah, partially. Yeah. Okay. Because otherwise I have no idea. I don't even want to pretend to be a doctor in this sense. Well, that sucks. Especially when you're just off to such a fantastically flying start. That sucks.
I'm only an expert in knee issues.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, you are. So anyway, but I agree. Look, anytime a guy's raking and then goes down, you know, There you go. By the way, Adam McCalvey says Tyrone Taylor could figure into the Brewers' outfield picture soon because he began playing games in Arizona this week, and he's scheduled to go to AAA Nashville on Tuesday to continue to play. So if by chance this should linger, Tyrone Taylor may find his way back into the big leagues via injury of someone else. So hopefully, knock on wood, that Tyrone Taylor makes it most of his opportunity if it does come his way. So we'll see, but it seems like there's just this pretty good rotation of depth that the Brewers have. That you can't go too deep, obviously, but that you just you can get by, I guess is the best way to put it. 877-867-1670. 1 hour yet to go. And we're opening up the phone lines, a potpourri of stuff. Yeah, we talked a little hockey today. Yes, we did get into that. After I'm being asked, did you talk all about Morgan Barrett? Morgan Barron, by the way, is his name, not Barrett. But yes, we did. We mentioned the fact that he got 75 stitches after a skate to the face. So, we can bring that again. We can talk about Draymond Green. We haven't talked about his suspension yet either, which everybody's going crazy overboard on. I personally agree with, and I kind of saw that coming. Stay tuned. We got another hour of the Bill Michaels Show yet to go. It all comes up. It comes up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers were 6-5 winners last night in 11 innings against Seattle. Willie Adames drove in what proved to be the winning run in the top of the inning. Then Bryce Wilson managed to close the door on the bottom. Adames drove in 3 runs, highlighted by his 4th home run of the year. Christian Yelich went 3 for 5 and hit his 3rd homer of the season. Colin Ray went 5 innings, giving up 4 runs on 5 hits. The bullpen handled things the rest of the way, dropping their MLB best ERA.
For that tonight, they were just a heck of a job. A whole bunch of guys delivering big outs and tough innings and putting up zeros. And they've been wonderful, and they were again tonight.
Milwaukee will go for the series sweep this afternoon. Turning the Bucks, they're going to face Miami in Game 2 of their first-round playoff series tonight. They trail 1-0. The team listed Giannis Antetokounmpo as doubtful for the game with a back injury. Coach Mike Budenholzer said yesterday they were holding out hope he could go. Tip tonight is at 8.
For nearly 40 years, ABC of Wisconsin has been helping men and women transform themselves into well-paid, productive members of their construction teams. Today, we have 2,000 active apprentices in 10 different skilled trade programs, and we educate individuals in more trades than anyone else. To get your career started, go to buildyourcareerwi.org or just search online for ABC of Wisconsin.
Well, we're now just more than a week away from the NFL draft. Things get going next Thursday in Kansas City. Packers own 10 picks, including the 15th overall. The number of picks could increase if Green Bay and New York can come to an agreement on a trade for quarterback Aaron Rodgers prior to the draft getting going. And Wisconsin going to hold a practice open to fans on Saturday at Camp Randall Stadium. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome back. Good to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We're rocking on. Enjoying our day. Hopefully you are too. We are getting all kinds of emails and people on the live stream and Twitter and such, and just talking about what a subluxation is. And it is, as everybody has now stated, it is a partial separation in the shoulder. There are different levels, and some seem to think that it's going to be at least a month before he comes back, but he's on the 10-day right now. In the meantime, expounding upon what Scott Grotsky from CBS 58 tweeted a little while ago, Eric Name says Giannis has been upgraded to questionable with the lower back contusion for Game 2. That was on the 12:30 Central Time injury report. So if you want to look at it in the positive light, the fact is that Giannis has been upgraded, and good news in the sense that, as Jim Ozarski said earlier, not many players, hardly any players, have ever played that have been listed as doubtful leading into a game. But if you get upgraded to questionable, you are then probably a lot more likely. And we all know Giannis is a competitor and wants to play. Now, we have to wait and see if he actually does. But nevertheless, good news coming out of Bucks camp today. 877-867-1670. That's the phone number. So if you want to call, call. By the way, the update on the poll question and where it stands right now. We are 8 days away till the NFL draft, and Aaron Rodgers still has not been traded. He wants to go to the Jets. The Packers want to send him to the Jets. The Jets want him. The Packers and the Jets are just trying to figure out the compensation. But Rodgers has already, it's a done deal. He has made up his mind. He's going to the New York Jets. So when is this deal going to get done? Just before round 1, day 2 of the draft, after June 1st, or maybe something else happens. 232 votes over on Twitter have been cast. 32% of you say just before round 1 is when this thing's going to get done, which is kind of a soft deadline. Day 2 of the draft is the least favorite choice in all of this. Might be wishful thinking because I don't think a lot of people want a day 2 draft choice, but you may take one. After June 1st, and then something else happens. The conspiracy theorists are really starting to catch up. 27% of you say the second most, by the way. Most people seem to think it's going to get done just before June 1st, 32.5%. But 27.6% of you say something else happens, like somebody else jumps into the mix. This drags out farther than anybody needed to. And he doesn't go to the Jets, he goes to X. He goes to the 49ers, or somebody else jumps into the mix and gets creative with draft choices or trades or something, and the Packers go in that direction. But that's the poll question of the day. But 232 votes cast. And what you believe is going to happen regarding the trade of one Aaron Rodgers. So there you go. 877-867-1670. We appreciate everybody chiming in, by the way. This is from your realtor. Your realtor. Over in the email inbox, which, by the way, the email inbox is simply dbillmichaels@gmail.com. He said, great to hear you pimping so many good realtors in the state of Wisconsin. I certainly appreciate it. I believe Giannis will play tonight, or at least give it a go. What will be disappointing is if he goes out there and either re-injures himself or looks like a shell of himself and is unable to play. That would be more demoralizing than having the young guns go out and get a win without him. Who's a young gun on this team? Your realtor. Who is a young gun on this team? It's not Middleton. Not Holiday. Pretty much everybody's been around for a while. There really aren't any young guns on this team. Crowder's been around. Lopez has been around. Bobby Portis has been around. Not a whole lot of, whippersnappers, if you will, on this Bucks team. Benjamin says, hey, Bill, I saw your Facebook post about your recent visit down in Indianapolis to Nicky Blaine's Cocktail Lounge. Lake Air is the company that actually supplied the smoke eater system for the smoking lounge. We are locally owned, American-made, vet hiring, family business in Racine, Wisconsin, and we think your tastes and experiences align well with our customers. There you go. Good stuff. Ben, let's talk. I'm happy to talk to your customers about the fine job you people do. I love it. Love the fact that they're air cleaners. Hell yeah. I might even have you put one in my house. I got a pretty good vent system in my house. I'm in the cigar bar downstairs. But, hey, you got something for me, man. Bring it. Good stuff. Nicky Blaine's, I plan on heading back there tonight, too, as a matter of fact. I do. I'm looking forward to that. When we get to 2 o'clock Central Time today, that's it. Kind of like, Ben, when you went on your ski trip And it was like, hey, just let you know, when we're off the air, you were pretty much gone. You were in the mountains. You were shushing down the hills. You were laying. I could only imagine on a deck somewhere, skis next to you, feet kicked up, fire going, beverage in hand, checking out the honeys. Right?
Yeah, probably. Tough to say.
Okay.
I don't disclose moments from my personal life.
Why not?
No, I do.
We all want to. We want to know everything. The whole world is curious. Like, my life is out there. You know, everybody knows what I do, where I go, who I'm with, what bars I'm at, what restaurants I'm at. You know, what place I'm visiting. You know, all of that. I want one day like a video tour of the crib. You know, Ben Kenny hanging at the house, opening up the closet, pulling out the shoe racks. You know, and then here's all the things we have in the fridge. Just give us the behind the scenes look at one Ben Kenny. Oh, by the way, you know, then he opens the door and then hiding behind the door is Zach Heilprin, you know, that type of thing. So, I want to see all that. Day in the life of Ben Kenny. Kicking back.
I'm out. I don't think so.
Kicking back and chilling. Want that. Crave that. That's a pay-per-view event. The world awaits. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Getting in on the coattails of the power of the program. This is from the Wertner family. To Bill. Hey, I am what you would call a Yelich supporter, and I have absolutely no problem with you criticizing him. I don't agree with half of what you say about the problems he's had, but some of your points are valid. So if the more you ding him, the better he does. You go right ahead and do whatever you need to do, my good friend. I'll help by saying that I think Mike Brussell needs a little hitting like Jeff Cirillo instead of Jeff, I need a pillow. Joey Weimer needs to get a better haircut. He looks like he's living in the 80s. So he can raise that declining batting average as well. And Owen Miller needs to start playing like his speed is his energy source. Together, we can will this team to a World Series, Bill. I'll do whatever necessary to see this team win a trophy, Bill, including trolling Yelich. I just couldn't come up with some really good zinger for him. I'll take some more time to think about it, and I'll let you know. That's sincerely, Joe. Joe, you the man. It's okay to be a Yelich supporter. I'm not a Yelich basher. And when you say you disagree, I mean, I don't know what there is to disagree with. You know, the results are the results. There are times where he looks lost. There's times that he doesn't. I can't figure. I go back to when it comes to Christian Yelich. If you go back to 2019, okay, you go back into those days, Christian Yelich was one of the most feared batters in baseball. He just anything you threw at him, he could get to. And that's the thing, is that it's just kind of gone by the wayside. You know, I don't know how else to put it, but it's just it left him. He could you throw a breaking ball that was going to be a backdoor breaking ball. I mean, it was going to be on the outside of the plate that he wasn't going to swing at, but yet you could always slam it in the back door. He'd go get it. You know, you bring something, bust him inside. Didn't matter, man. Bust him inside. He'd turn on that thing. Quick hips, right through the strike zone. And he'd get the bat out over the square part of the plate, and he'd be able to drive that ball, not necessarily pulling it hard down the left field line, but it majestically rose and went down, or down the right field line, went over the right field fence, you know? And you go back to 2018, 2019, and you look at those years, and he was one of the most feared hitters in baseball. Now, I don't think pitchers fear Christian Yelich anymore. If he heats up, it's a couple more home runs, and suddenly he goes from having one to sitting on 5 or 6. Okay. Then I think people start to go, whoa, what's he doing again? Is this the beginning? Maybe a resurgence of Christian Yelich? We can all hope. I'm right there with you. We all hope. But He just was one of the most feared hitters in baseball. And I don't think he is anymore. I just don't think he is. 877-867-1670. Find us again, 877-867-1670. Let's go back to the phone calls. Let's talk to Fred listening to us in Green Bay. Fred, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
Good time, Bill. It's good to talk with you. Thanks for talking baseball. And thank you for hooking us up with Tim Allen.
Yes,
I love his passion for baseball in general and the Brewers in particular. And Tim talked about the Brewers getting 12 hits and 4 walks one of the games a couple of days ago. And walks are very important and underappreciated, Bill. I have some records here. The top 19 lifetime players in batting average all have more walks than strikeouts. So there's a connection between base on balls and batting average. And as far as Yelich is concerned, I agree with what you say. 4 or 5 years ago, his primary objective was to swing the bat and hit the ball. Now it looks like he's looking for a walk. I'm glad he's taking them, but I want him swinging the bat. He used to be one of our best power hitters. How do you feel about that?
If he's hitting for power, I'd like to see. I just want to see Christian Yelich get into a groove where he's hitting the ball squarely. If it's a line drive base hit, I'll take it, because when he's at his best, he's hitting the ball squarely over the park. What he has done recently is at times he will swing, and he'll take it down the left field line, but it's not because he's squaring the ball up. It's because he's bringing the bat through the strike zone slower than he has in the past. He doesn't have the same elevation and quickness of hips and rise through the strike zone. But hey, anything he does right now that puts him right back on the right path, I'm all for it, man. I just don't want to see him swinging and looking confused at the plate at balls breaking down into the ground and looking at call third strike right down the middle and getting fooled consistently. That's what I'm looking for. So there you go. That's our buddy Fred listening to us in Green Bay. 877-867-1670. Let's go back to the phones. Tim listening to us in Sparta. Tim, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
Well, hopefully my phone connection is better than it was last Friday. I'm doing well. The two guys I want to look at for the upcoming draft, Jack Campbell and Sam Laporta, both out of Iowa. I know that Ben Kenny despises Iowa players, but
yes.
Sam Laporta, I think, is somebody you could pick up in one of the later rounds and is going to be a more than serviceable tight end.
Mm-hmm. They have talked to, I think, 5, if I'm not mistaken. That's an area of, they're not only looking for a starter, they're looking for depth at the tight end position as well. You are correct.
Because not only can he catch the ball, but he can block. I mean, with Iowa's anemic offense last year, he was really the only target to catch a ball. And all they had to do was double cover him and look at his stats. He was still a great receiver. And with Campbell, I think he would pair well with Quay Walker. I don't know when he's going to fall, or where. But that guy is 6'5", 250, and can run.
Mm-hmm.
He hits people going downhill. And I think he would be a fine replacement for Devondre Campbell. I don't know how many years he's got left on those legs.
Right. Devondre, appreciate the phone call. Now, the other guy that a lot of people are talking about is, I think, I don't know if you mentioned Drew Sanders or not, the linebacker out of Arkansas. That's another guy that others have talked about possibly landing in the Packers' laps. Also, Mozzie Smith, the defensive tackle out of Michigan. That would be another one that the Packers could go in that direction. There's a couple of guys. The edge rusher Nolan Smith out of Georgia has been talked about because the Packers because you're going to need depth for Rashawn Gary is another guy that the Packers have been linked to, and so maybe they might like him. The other guy, tell me, do you know anything about Josh Downs, the wide receiver out of North Carolina, Ben?
I do. And by the way, Tim, there might not be a bigger Iowa football fan in the world than me. So I always relish an opportunity to talk Iowa football and Iowa players. So whenever you want to do it, we will gladly welcome it.
Okay.
Josh Downs is interesting. he was a gadget slot guy in the North Carolina offense, which now is the Wisconsin offense. So there's actually been a lot of comparisons made to the dudes Wisconsin has now. The interesting part is how much of it was his great talent and how much of it is a crazy air raid space offense that just gave him the ball.
Right.
Like, I like him. I think he's good, but I'm not necessarily blown away by his like ability, but the scheme really helped him a lot. So he could end up being good, but he's not one of my favorites.
He's a guy that's on that list. Also, he had mentioned Sam Laporta, the tight end out of Iowa. There's another guy that is Tucker Kraft.
I love Sam Laporta.
That is
by the way,
tight end out
Bill.
of South
If
Dakota.
you can go forward,
Mhm.
if you can go forward in Iowa's offense, you could go forward anywhere. You could go forward on the moon.
Right.
If you could go forward in that Iowa offense. So shout out to Sam Laporta. He's
Okay.
awesome.
So he's a Sam Laporta guy. There you go. Brandon Joseph is another one that's being talked about that he could end up fortifying that safety position for the Packers, and they could maybe pick him up in like the 3rd round. There's another guy, J.R. Brown, the safety out of Penn State. There's another one in that defensive backfield that they could say that the Packers might go after. The other guy, the wide receiver, I don't know, Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma. I know some about him, and I started looking at some tape of him via our lads. He also is another guy that people are saying very quietly, look at this guy. Marvin Mims, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma, that this is another guy that might be there that the Packers may look if he falls in the 3rd round. He's projected to be a 3rd round talent, but they said that might be a find in the 3rd round as well. That Marvin Mims, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma. So I haven't gotten real deep into all this stuff, but I am looking more and more and more heavily at it. Only for the fact that I'm not going to be here the next week. But yeah, that's another area that you may kind of put one eye over the fence and say if they go in that direction. Do you like Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma, Ben?
I do. I wasn't able to watch as much of him because he's in the Big 12.
Right.
But he's rocketing up. I think since the combine, people look at him favorably.
Yeah, they like his
I'm a
numbers
fan
at the
of
combine.
like I'm very in on Watson and Dobbs, obviously, but I'm all the way in on getting Jackson Smith and Jigba in the 1st round. However you could do it, if you got to trade up to do it. And then after that, you might take a depth receiver, but that kind of fills your receiving core. I'm more focusing the rest of the draft with hopefully an extra 2nd round pick, if not more, in the Rodgers deal, to then go after the defense and depth on the offensive line. So a bunch of those receivers late are interesting. My ideal scenario is they don't need to be taken by the Packers.
I am not a huge fan. I was just to ask, what about Brenton Strange later in the draft, the tight end out of Penn State? I am not a big fan. Not a fan of his. He's an okay blocker, nothing overly dynamic. They're okay hands, but there was nothing dynamic out of the tight end position at Penn State. Do you like Brenton Strange?
I don't know that much about him.
Yeah, I don't know that much
Or
about
that
him either. But what I
position.
did see, and I try to watch a lot of Big Ten football, but what I did see, I was not a fan. It wasn't like the tight end position was a heavily utilized position at Penn State. So anyway, we went way into the weeds. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And yeah, Ben. Oh, I thought Ben was going to say something. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back.
I was just going to note
Yeah, go
that
ahead.
if you want the biggest ceiling tight end you could find, his name is Darnell Washington from Georgia, and his ceiling is quite literally the Terminator.
I love that. If they pick him, I'd be fantastic. Fantastic. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to find us, please feel free. Go ahead and hit us up. Hey, they want to say thank you for voting them the best tire dealer and service center. That's our friends at J&L Tire and Service Center in Watertown and in Johnson Creek. You can see them right off of 94 in Johnson Creek, the Johnson Creek exit. Just look north, and there it is right there. In Watertown, they're on Boulder Road, but they are the best, whether it's putting tires on your minivan, changing the oil, or doing some big rig repair. They have the facility for an 18-wheeler in there, too. Whatever it be, check out our friends at J&L Tire and Service Center, both in Watertown and in Johnson Creek. And make sure whatever you do, you tell them we sent you. Good stuff.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Good to have you back. The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. Our friends over there, Boondocks Barbecue, Burgers, and Brews. Always good. Always good stuff. And they always have terrific food. But they're right there on County Road K in Oconomowoc. Stonebank, to be exact. But they got really good dishes that keep popping up. Every Wednesday is a winner. They have wings today. Grab your wingman. Fly on over. 75-cent wings. House smoke. Fried crisperly. They say crisptacularly, but different sauces and stuff. But they've got some smoked pork mac and cheese. Oh, it's so good. So good. Smoked pork mac and cheese. And they're hiring too, by the way. If you're looking for a summer gig, line cooks, dishwashers, servers, bartenders, hosts, all that kind of good stuff. And they do sign-on bonuses as well. So if you're looking for some of that, and they have a really cool food truck. So check out Boondocks Barbecue, Burgers, and Brews out there in Oconomowoc on County Road K. Stop in, tell them we said howdy. Good stuff. They got really good food. 877 867-1670. Emily says, heading down to the Fiserv tonight. The likelihood now that Giannis has been upgraded that he will play is ? If I had to give you a percentage, I'd say 50-50. I'm not going to go much more than that. My guess is this, that they're going to get to the arena. He's going to get whatever treatment he's getting, loosen himself up a little bit, and then excuse me, I had a cough. He'll go out and maybe do shoot around or something, start to work out a little bit. And if he feels like he can go, he'll go. If he can't, or it's too painful, or he feels like it could cause more damage, then he won't go. It's that simple. And like we said earlier, and Jim Ozarski brought to the table, chances are he's, the Bucs should be able to beat this team. No Tyler Hero, obviously, who's about to have surgery on that hand. No Tyler Hero. So, the Bucs should win. And if they do, then they send it off to Miami, where it's not a do or die because it's a series tied up in a game apiece. So if, Giannis needs another game off, he could take that game off. If they win that game, that first game in Miami, you're up 2-1. Then he doesn't even have to play the next game. So he could literally get a week and a half, 2 weeks off just to relax before coming back and playing. So, you gain a little time that way, and then you start playing with some house money in that aspect. But, yeah, I think it's a 50-50 proposition. By the way, Ronald says Yelich not in the lineup today. Not in the lineup today. There you go. Yeah, today's game is a day game out in Seattle. Brewers go for the sweep today. What is that, Ben? 3:40 Central, I think, is when that thing gets underway. 3:40 Central time today, I think.
I think it's 3:10.
3:10? Okay, 3:10 Central time today. There you go.
Yeah.
3:10 Central time. Darren says, are we stuck paying Yelich? Can it get redone to be more in line? Love the guy. I'd love him more at a lesser amount. That's from Smeet. No. You know why? Because Major League Baseball guarantees that money. Period. Once it's written, it's written. Once it's written, it's written. There you go. Nothing you can do about it. 877-867-1670. This is from Jacob, and he says the Packers need at least 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 2 edge rushers, a defensive lineman. They have so many holes on this team, it's ridiculous. There's no way that Jordan Love is going to take this team to the postseason. Are we trying to fool ourselves and talk ourselves into being bigger fanboys than we are? No. I agree with the tight end and the wide receiver position. Absolutely. 100% agree with. 2 edge rushers. Why do they need 2? You can talk about depth. Okay. But they picked up Engabari last year, who played admirably. He didn't play great, but he played admirably. But 2 edge rushers, 2 defensive. The defensive linemen, if you pick up another, and again, you're thinking of getting these tremendous, I can only assume that you're getting these tremendous defensive linemen in your mind. You have Devontae Wyatt, who played well at the end of last season, gave you a glimpse of maybe what he could be. So I thought that was big. You've got Kenny Clark, TJ Slayton, who you drafted, I think it was in the 5th round of the 21 draft. You still have Jonathan Ford there. I think there's one more guy. I can't remember. I think there's 5 on the depth chart. But if you get another body, you're kind of good because you don't play a ton of base 3-4 defense anyway. I could see the edge rushers. You could never have too many good edge rushers. If you find a pass rusher in the draft, you're awesome. That's great. Somebody to rotate him with Preston Smith, start to begin to take over for him when he is no longer with the team. You're going to have Rashawn Gary coming back. You've already got Engabari and company. Rome in the middle. You've got Devondre Campbell, Quay Walker. Beyond that, you're kind of thin because I think all you have is McDuffie. So you could go with another middle linebacker, but I don't think you need 2, 2, and 2. What you do need tight ends and wide receivers. That I agree with. But to say that this team, you're fooling yourself if you think Jordan Love can't take them to the playoffs. Now, let me preface my statement here. I don't think Jordan Love was the right pick to begin with. Okay, I hope he proves me wrong. So in that sense, I agree with you. But to act like, let's just say Jordan Love is good, then to act like this team doesn't have talent, I think you're fooling yourself. I don't look. Do I think that they have a defense like San Francisco? Do they have an incredibly prolific offense like what maybe Miami could have? No, but I still think they have the makings for a good team. They have some holes to fill, no doubt. But you got a solid offensive line. You got 2 solid running backs. You know who your quarterback is going to be. You got 2 out of 3 really pretty good down linemen defensively on your front. If Rashawn Gary comes back and plays like Rashawn Gary, then you have good outside edge rushers with a little bit of depth. If Quay Walker figures out how to handle the run and has taken the time away this offseason like Devontae Wyatt and bulked up and kind of figured things out, then you've got 2 really good middle linebackers. Your secondary is, I don't know what Stokes is going to be, but your secondary is pretty solid too. I don't know where all these holes are that you're fooling yourself. That I don't understand. That I don't understand. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free. Go ahead and do so. Again, give us a shout. Would love to hear from you. But I don't see as many bad holes as many people want to point out, I guess might be the best way to put it. John says Packers do sign some players from the USFL and others. And they have. They have. If you see somebody in the USFL, the XFL that maybe fills the bill, maybe gives you a little bit of depth, so be it. I don't care where you get good players, as long as you get good players. Who cares beyond that, right? Doesn't matter. Hey, if you're going to be heading out tonight to watch the game and check out maybe the Brewers this afternoon, Bucks tonight, no better place to do it. Go to the Nice Ash, the Nice Ash Cigar Bar, 323 West Main Street, downtown Waukesha. They have that huge indoor walk-in humidor, which, you've got a place here like Nicky Blaine's here in Indianapolis, which is a beautiful big cigar bar. But their humidor is really small. Not a huge selection. I was a little bit surprised at that. And it's nice that the Nice Ash has such a huge walk-in humidor. Entertainment, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, live music, 13 different flavors of hookahs, fine bourbons and whiskeys, you name it, cold tappers, all that kind of good stuff. Nice Ash. Go to theniceash.com. That's theniceash.com. Downtown Waukesha. Tell them we said hello. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
As the weather warms up, so should your grill. Here comes the smell of sunshine and tailgates. For all your grilling needs, go to ScholzieFamilyBeef.com.
Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
We know that the warm weather is going to get here. It's going to stick around. And if you're looking for, say, the outdoor fire pit or maybe even the warming units for the patio, if you're looking for patio furniture, if you're looking for the umbrellas, the lighting, you name it, hammocks outside, grills and accessories, that's our friends from Master Z's on Blue Mountain Road in Brookfield. Call them 262-746-5931 for all of the in-store specials. But people come from all over for this stuff because it's such incredible quality. And their showroom, if you want to call it that, it's like a warehouse. It's huge. And you can go in there and see all the different setups. You can see it today and have it tomorrow. They really pride themselves on that. You're looking for a pool table, a shuffleboard, dart boards, the electronic dart boards, all the accessories, everything. They've got all that, the table games, the table game accessories, service, all that kind of stuff. They have got it. That's Master Z's on Blue Mountain Road in Brookfield. But if you're looking for a really nice patio set, if you're looking for some Adirondack chairs, or maybe just some maybe that outdoor bar that you've been wanting to put together, they can do that for you as well. Call our friends at Master Z's in Brookfield on Blue Mountain Road in Brookfield, 262-746-5931. 262-746-5931. Get a hold of Master Z's in Brookfield. 877-867-1670. If you want to find us, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Big news coming out of Camp Randall. Did you see this, Ben? For the launch presented by Old Dutch Foods. How we don't have Old Dutch Foods as a sponsor, I don't know. But at Camp Randall, coming up this Saturday, they're going to get their chance to see the new look Wisconsin Badgers with the new head coach. And 20,000+ tickets have been reserved for this thing. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah. I will be in attendance likely. The weather's not supposed to be great, which kind of sucks.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to it.
My cousin is a huge Ohio State fan, and he posted the other day, because and he said, how's it in comparison? Because for the Scarlet and Gray game, which is what they call it, it's just massive at the shoe. And for years you'd get 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000 in a good year, maybe for Camp Randall. This year, over 20,000 tickets reserved. So it's growing. You can clearly feel the excitement for Badger football and for what Luke Fickell, the energy he's brought in, the what many people seem to believe is the upgrade at certain positions and or the use of the transfer portal. But they just feel like his touch on this team has given them reason for a large amount of optimism. And hopefully they're all rewarded for that. I hope I'm the same way. So I'm right there in the same boat as far as optimism goes for this football team. So I'm excited. But 20,000+ people going to be on hand for the launch coming up this Saturday out of Camp Randall. I'm excited for that. So you said you're going, Ben, for sure?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be there. It's also going to be on Big Ten Network at 3:00 on Saturday.
Okay.
They're going to air it taped because it starts at 1. And it's not a game, which is an important distinction.
It'll be
It's
11
hard
on
to compare
11, kind of a scrimmage type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an open practice, which is what they always do.
Mm-hmm.
So some schools do sell out their stadiums for spring games.
Right.
The Badgers are not there because they still don't do a game.
Right.
Which I would love for them to do in the future.
So that's coming up. We got the Bucks basketball coming up tonight. Giannis has been upgraded to questionable, which is good news. No Yelich in the lineup today, but the Brewers are going for the sweep in Seattle. And if the Brewers get the sweep in Seattle, what is that, 7-3 on the road trip? Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't even tell you the last time they had that much success on the West Coast. That would be a really, really, really solid road trip. Sustaining a couple of injuries, watching Burns, Mitchell go down, not having Woodruff. They've faced some adversity, and they've been able to figure out how to get the job done. If they get the sweep today, that is huge. They have the third best record in all of baseball right now, if I'm not mistaken. Third best amount of wins in all of baseball. The run differential is one of the best. There's really not anything bad you can say about the Brewers so far. You can nitpick a few players, and things, but overall the team's been really, a joy to watch, a lot of fun to watch. So got Brewers baseball coming up this afternoon, Bucks basketball coming up tonight, the launch coming up this weekend. So yeah, a lot of good stuff happening around the state without a doubt. Hey, and then there's golf. If you didn't know, golf coming up, Baroque Hills Golf Course, Saturday, May 6th. Saturday, May 6th, almost completely sold out. So if you've been thinking about it, pick up the phone and call, talk to Ryan, say, Ryan, what is it? Shotgun start, 1:00. We play 18 holes. After that, do a little grubbing, a little Q&A, have some fun, have some chat together. And who knows, after that, maybe we just all end up down at the Norwegian Hollow or something. But regardless, 608-637-7615. 608-637-7615. It's the Bill Michaels Open, Baroque Hills Golf Course, coming up Saturday, May 6th. Only a couple of spots left. This will sell out. Only a couple of spots left. Hang in there. What did we miss? It's coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's Jeff Levering for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Up to bat is Pella's award-winning Easy Slide innovation. Look at that effortless horizontal window slide, letting in lots of light. And that roll, it's a double play. Like magic, the screen disappears when the window is closed. On deck is Pella's Reserve Series patio door, featuring the best lifetime warranty in the industry. Just look at that slide. It's a perfect fit. Order by April 30th and get 0% for 48 months at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes.
Crisp red apples with fresh strawberries. Cider Boy Strawberry Magic Hard Cider.
Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Good to have you. Hey, one of the big things, every time I get somebody over at the house, they always, kind of get the tour of the house. And whenever they go down to the gym, they always look at the floor and go, wow, what a cool floor. It's an epoxy floor. It's the black and gray and flaked floor, and it's just awesome, but it's in the gym. And every time people look at it, that's the best part of what they see first thing. And it was done by Sean and the gang over at Epoxy Flooring Done Right. They're in Wisconsin. And the best part about it is that if you have an issue with an epoxy flooring company, most of them are outside of Wisconsin. So if you do have a problem and you got to go after them, it's not easy to get them to come back into Wisconsin to redo what it is they screwed up to begin with, because Sean does a lot of other people's screw ups. He takes care of it for you. So get it done right, and get it done right the first time by somebody based in Wisconsin. That's epoxyflooringdoneright.com. Epoxyflooringdoneright.com. Call Sean 262-443-2852. Been with us a long, long time, part of our motorcycle ride and part of helping out our veterans. Again, 262-443-2852. 262-443-2852. That is Epoxy Flooring Done Right. Well, tonight I'm hoping for a Bucks win. I'm hoping for a Brewers win this afternoon. Hopefully Giannis is able to come back sooner rather than later. But for right now, Ben, Kenny, what did we miss?
All right, I've been looking forward to this today because there was a headline from yesterday that I sure chuckled at, and I figure you will too. And I quote, Ben Simmons might not need another surgery on his back, as it turned out, the injury that has kept him out pretty much this entire year. The Nets have, quote, noticed complete change in his drive to get back on the court.
Really?
How awesome is that?
Oh, Ben Simmons, just the human paperweight. Awesome. So happy for Ben Simmons.
You know what's sad? Recently, there was some film shared of his early Sixer days. He used to be really good.
Right.
And he was flawed, but like he was a valuable basketball player and he had
Right.
so much potential.
Yeah.
And then for it all to just crash down.
Let's put Ben Simmons alongside Morgan Barron. Morgan Barron, for those that don't know, part of the Winnipeg Jets, took a skate to the face last night, slashed his forehead inside of his face open, 75 stitches. 75! They stitched him up in a locker room. He came back out and played the third period. Ben Simmons knocked over by a massive fart, hasn't been back since. Throwing it out there. Okay, please continue.
And he still is not showing up to the Nets games as they're in the playoffs,
he's
which
such
would
a
have been
loser.
the big draw for
Yeah.
for Nets Sixers.
He's the
Yep.
Cletus Hunt of the NBA.
Draymond Green was suspended, and ESPN has lost their minds.
They have.
It's taken up every minute of coverage they've had on anything is on Draymond's suspension.
Mike Greenberg.
Do you think it was warranted?
Yeah, I do. Mike Greenberg has lost his mind in that anything and everything he talks about is talked about like this. And it's always breaking news here at the Seaport. And, oh, my God. He has become one of the most annoying human beings on the face of the earth. And that's the reason I've kind of stopped watching it. I'll flip over every now and then, see what they're talking about, and then I flip back. I'll either go to the MLB strike zone or I'll go to the NFL Good Morning Football, or hell, I'll even watch Florio before I can watch him. He is such a caricature of what he once was. Wow. So anyway, but you're right. They have lost their mind. But it was warranted. It was warranted. You had the commissioner there. He was at the game. He steps on Sabonis. Now, Sabonis, don't get me wrong, he's not completely bereft of responsibility, but he steps on Sabonis and then jumps and then acts like a moron, engaging with anybody and everybody in the crowd. This is not the look the NBA wants. And the commissioner's got to be sitting there going, look, it's bad enough that it came to where you're tangled up and you're stomping on a guy, but then look at the way you're egging everybody else on. Yeah, it's great to be the villain, I guess, but you had fans that were irate behind the bench and you kept screaming at them. You don't want another Malice at the Palace. This guy has done this before. He's always tangled up with somebody. So yeah, to suspend him for the next game. And you know what? He continues to, when you look at the numbers of Sacramento prior to him going out, Sacramento wasn't. I mean, he was a hell of a defender. His numbers are justified. His play, he's a hell of a player. But Green is just an idiot. He's just he can cost you in the long run. And he may have just cost him going deeper into the postseason for sure. So there you go.
My favorite thing is, and listen, I'm a big Colin Cowherd fan. I always have been. Since people have posted videos, since Cowherd has added Green to his podcast network, his stance on Green is completely flipped. It's all defense.
Right.
Before it was some attacking when these things come up. So that's an interesting development. You got Live Golf Australia, Live Adelaide going on this weekend. Apparently they added a waste management type par 3 where everyone's going to get drunk and yell things. Is that going to do it for you? Bill, are you going to stay up on Saturday night to the wee hours of 3 a.m. to watch Live Golf Down Under?
No. If I'm up at 3 a.m., it's only because I've been out drinking and I'm just getting home. And then if indeed I would ever turn on Live Golf, it would probably be just to put me to sleep. That'd be about the extent of it. Nothing else after that. There wouldn't be a whole lot to really drive the train there. Just throwing it.
Also, Greg Norman had the classic thing when you're failing and no one's interested in you, where he came out and said, "Oh, plenty of people want to come join our league. They just can't because we have other guys under contract, but you should see the names, big names. Oh, they all want to come play for us."
Right.
It's kind of like the Packers thing.
Yeah. Well, as far as I know, they keep changing the rules anyway, so why not? First it was going to be 10 tournaments, now it's 14. Rumor has it it's going to go to 21 next year. They have gone from being gourmet to box lunch. No more flying first class or flying private. Now it's coach on jets. They've basically fired a lot of the television staff and made them all part-time people, of which they lost all their producers because the producers went on to other things. I mean, they're just changing the rules as you go. So why the hell not? Why not add more people if all these names want to come over? Sure, just pay them. Greg Norman.
They're also,
he's full of crap.
Real quick before we end, Bill, there are a dozen Dodger Stadium workers chasing a possum in the upper deck in the outfield right now.
Nice.
So that is something to monitor.
Nice.
As they get ready to play baseball.
There you go. That's it. Hey, I'm going to be gone until next Wednesday. It is going to be Ben Kenny and company taking you through the end of this week and into the early portion of next week. But when I return, I'll look for us. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. The Bill Michaels Show on both. And we'll bunch of pictures and all that kind of stuff. But until I talk to you again, coming up in about a week from now, it'll be Ben Kenny and company. So time for us